I should probably unmute myself since the last time I was streaming, I was totally not producing and therefore totally not needed to have my microphone on. Hello everybody, how are you doing tonight? This start will have been a bit rushed and we'll get into that in just a moment. I am not alone today. I am here with the one and only Pharmacy. You want to introduce yourself?
What is good, everyone? So my name is Pharmacy. I've been playing Siege for a couple of years. The main thing I do on Siege is coach, and today I'm going to be giving my insights on these two teams playing each other, and hopefully that can help you guys out and you guys can learn a thing or two.
Awesome, awesome. Yes, I always do love your approach because it's always like a very practical. Say if the team does that, then they're capable of winning the round. If they if they don't manage to take control of this one particular area, well, then the push really is going to have a hard time. And it's a really applied way of thinking that really is a contrast with what I currently or usually do, which is why I totally love having you on. So we are a little bit rushed here, because one of the teams, so the match was scheduled at like 7 p.m. right now, and like one of the players will have to leave at I believe like 10 p.m. So they really could not extend, and they asked us to like run the map bans 10 minutes before to start the match proper at 7, and I totally forgot about that. I thought it was another game, and you know, it's just a total mistake on my part, no way around that. And so we're totally not rushing through the map bans as we speak, who are on their way. So Theme Park and Villa already are out, and Oregon will be the first map of the night. You do have access to the map ban, right?
Yes.
I DM'd on you. Correct. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and as I say this, I'm going to be also starting the game because we're a tiny bit late. So I'm going to try to like recuperate the lost time there, because that really is totally uncool for the players. Map ban is going pretty strong though, so our first map is going to be Oregon, the second one's going to be Clubhouse. I would dare say these are the most popular maps of the bunch. Wouldn't you agree?
I would say so. They're definitely the most played.
And yeah, we really jumped into this quickly. I'm so sorry if I kind of put you on the spot when I said, hey, we're going live 3, 2, 1, because that was really abrupt.
It all good.
Awesome, awesome. And so, yeah, third map, of course, is going to be Cafe Dostoyevsky. Spawn sides are being decided as we speak. So things are really moving along, and I'm pleased to see that, because from time to time, it can be as simple as, say, for example, having a team that thinks the second click is going to be a ban and not a pick, and then we have to redo the map bans. This happens from time to time, I would say roughly once a week. For the beginning of the season, I would hope this is not going to be a trend for the entire season, but at the very, very least, I've seen this once or twice before, and I would hope that, yeah, this doesn't happen again. And for example, right here tonight, that situation wasn't exactly an issue. So I believe the game lift servers are not that impressive, right? So I'm gonna pick like the regular Central US servers. Although I believe everybody here is on the East Coast. It shouldn't matter much, but hey, there you have it. And last but not least, let's invite the players, should we?
That would be a great start.
Yes. So yeah, go ahead.
If we quickly talk about Oregon real quick, you know, I think I've said this in the past, maybe I haven't. Oregon is a map where like you kind of people already know what to do, right? You know, the attack,
Hmm.
usually the strategy has already been planned out. It's usually the same type of attack, whether the site is upstairs or downstairs or middle floor. And then same goes for the defense, right? There's a couple of unique strats, but those are very risky and whatnot. So I feel like we're gonna be seeing a lot more gunfight heavy um rounds here compared to strat heavy.
And that's interesting because both of these teams have participated in a previous season, and so we know them more or less, right? So for Mishmash Gaming, they came in, what was it, like third or fourth? They had some pretty decent performances in season one. The performance in season two wasn't as strong, if memory serves me right. And so all that to say that I believe they could potentially be the strongest fragger out of the bunch, because the other team, did they make it to the playoffs? If they did, they didn't go too far. So on that front, I mean, as far as like historical data is concerned, I would give the advantage, just gunplay while to Mishmash, but I also believe that they have lost a few key players recently, such as their coach, and well, he was IGLing from time to time when he had to replace to fill in or sub in for somebody, and so that player Kenny is no longer with them. And I mean, losing a player always is a slightly, say, unsettling task for a team, because they have to then bring somebody new in and teach that new player all of their strats. And I can imagine it takes a bit of time. And they've had so far, I believe, like specifically 1 week to get the new player accustomed. Let's see how good or how not too great that's going to turn out for them. But still, I would tend to feel that they have a really good shot here. And I don't believe that this update, this UI, right? It doesn't. Oh shoot, are you in my parsec? You're not, right? Let me just screen share with you real quick. Sorry about that. We really rushed in. Yeah, I don't think that this overlay is going to like update your friends list in real time, which is why I'm going to be using the Uplay app. It is really, yeah, he is in my friends list. It is really unfortunate when you're down to like using the desktop app because it's better than like the in-game functionalities. So unfortunate.
Down bad.
So yes, our first map is going to be Oregon. So not exactly. Clubhouse and Impact are going to be attacking on both the first maps. And if we go into the third one, then it is going to be up to MishMash to attack first. But that is not necessarily going to happen. Let's see. Either of those two teams could just, win it in a 2-0 fashion. Impact Elite have been named, and MishMash Gaming also have their in-game names. Okay, you know what I could probably do? That's an announcement on Twitter, because I had the time to like prepare the image to make the announcements. But of course, since we were a bit rushed in, that announcement hasn't been put up. So let's do this like real quick. On another note, I have never actually posted this, which is really unfortunate, but then again, that's really is on me. There has already been a disband on one of the teams registered this season, and we're talking about Vendetta Esports. They're playing the Camera League. So that team had been casted once, but we won't be seeing them again as far as this season is concerned. They had played in Season 1, hadn't played in Season 2, Season 3 they were there, but only for a very brief time, or a brief amount of time, which is unfortunate because their performances were so much greater this season than, the very first time. So small details, but hey, I'm not making full sentences here.
Make sure you guys check out the DAL League on TikTok.
Oh yes, absolutely. Whenever we have a few, comp clips here and there, I try to post like one announcement every, or not one announcement, but like one highlight of every game. Of course, they're not going to be like clutches, 5 headshots, wall bangs every single time, because those are too rare to be able to post them every single game. But we still try to like post some highlights and give our players some clout, because at the end of the day, I mean, they're here making a great show, right? Watching them play is just so spectacular. So that's the very least that we could do for them. There's only one player missing.
What are the average ranks on these two teams, just for a quick reference?
You know what? We're basically ready to go. So I will just ask the players if they're ready, and then Kenny, I said Kenny, the coach isn't there, but he's subbing the team right now. Okay, so I guess he still has ties to the team. Guys, are you ready to go? And we'll look at their scores while we're loading in.
Yes, we are.
Awesome. MishMash. Oh, I totally misspelled your name, though. Give me a sec. That's not how you... MishMash. Okay. Yeah, so MMG, are you guys ready to go? Okay, while we're waiting for this, the question that you were asking. On the one side, it looks to be basically Platinum 2, 3. It really does hover on that. Platinum 1, so I guess you could say the average roughly is like Platinum 2. On the other side, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like 1 diamond among the players. Oh, Axis is even gold. Oh. Oh no, Gohan's gonna be the top fragger if I remember correctly. And
so
Shoddy's the new coach.
If we base if we base this like a prediction off of the ranks, it seems like a very balanced game.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Having was it Axis that was gold? Having Axis be gold, that is slightly worrying because I mean it is MishMash. Yes, our name is wrong. Wait, is there still a typo in your name? MishMash.
Not MishMash.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, there's still a typo. God damn it, that really is on me. Okay, well, with that being said, now we're good to go. Best of luck, have fun, and may the best team win. And we are good to go. Okay. Yes. That's weird though, because the operator bands should definitely have been resetted since the last time we played. Let me just refresh that real quick. That is going to be better. Okay, yes. So here on Oregon, what kind of operator bands can we expect?
Well, it really depends because you can go for like a Jackal just to, really make sure that there's no one to look at the defeat. But since the map is pretty small, they might go for something more like a Maverick. It seems like they chose to go with Thatcher instead, so I'm guessing Maverick won't be coming out as a ban. But if not, that also would have been a decent ban. We might see the Jackal right here though.
Yep, which is kind of surprising though because they're starting on attack, so they would have had like a great time on Jackal to get an early lead and then ride that momentum into the defense, which is why, for example, when I'm starting on defense, I'd rather go for a weaker defensive ban. Same thing when I go on attack, but that does not seem to be how these players are thinking right here.
Well, they might go for a more direct onto side push, and if they go, for example, in the basement defense, if they go, let's say, through the blue bunker and the pillar, they won't necessarily need the Jackal compared to if they chose to clear from top floor all the way down or east to west, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always many ways of playing the game. You could, like you said, try to flush out the roamers, or you could just push in directly. Absolutely. It really is going to come down to the specific team's play style. Let's see exactly how this is going to go down, because if I look at the pick here for the attacker specifically, this seems to be pretty typical, but not exactly anti-roam, right? Okay, Jackal's off the board because he's just been banned, but like Nomad screams, I want to push in and not have to worry about the roamers behind in my flanks, rather than I want to kill the roamers before I push into sight.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely true. They can definitely just take control of the only map control that they need, then open up the hatches or the breaches that they need, and just put nomads on anywhere that can be, a issue or a flank to them.
Yeah, that really is interesting. Let's look at exactly how MishMash are going to be playing, because if they don't plan to roam, once again, having the anti-roam playstyle would be irrelevant in the first place. And to be totally frank, I mean, I don't see any roam dedicated operators, right? There's no Vigil, there's no Kavera. Gohan with Jaeger could absolutely be roaming if he wanted to, but the kit that he has isn't actively going to help him out with that endeavor. Who else is there? Axis, maybe, once all those discs have been thrown out, because he doesn't generate them till the end of the round anymore. He could also try to be a bit more mobile, but everybody else would, want to stay on site. I would hardly imagine Shoddy with a shotgun being, for example, into meeting. That's just way too long of a line of sight to be holding.
I mean, as long as, you know, they at least roam slightly, at least maybe for the first minute or two, just to make sure that the attackers don't rush in and get too much control too quick. Because if they get, you know, control of the entire downstairs very early, they could really put a lot of damage using Asher's impacts or Zophia's from under, and that would definitely be, you know, that definitely hinder the defenders that are going to be sitting on site.
Oh no! That was a free kill on Bad Bunny and he totally missed that! If I was Axis, I would be like mad at myself right now. Gohan is still a roamer undetected. So there's that, but at the end of the day, like you're saying, or what you were saying is they would better hope to like waste some time off of impact. But Omarkar is already like opening up the wall, and I believe it's already set up. There you go, Zofia has done her deed, and Army right here will already be feeling the pressure in just a few short seconds.
Yeah, so they're really going for a more direct on-a-site approach by taking the attic. They can just open up that breach instantly and then go straight push down the attic and peek to both sites. They also have their frag operators going from the bedroom side so that they can put additional pressure and then create a pinch onto the site eventually.
And I mean, it seems to be working more or less. Attic's already been cleared up, and Axis here is taking some kind of risks in tossing those magnets. But Gohan, who was really close, I mean, ready to help out the teammates on site, no longer is there. He's been droned out, right? But he didn't want to force or overstay his welcome. So really, like you're saying, pincer movement right here. They have total control of Bad, but he seems to be rotating out. And Chroma and now Ormakar in, but they're also rotating. What is happening? Are they going to go for something else? Like, I don't think they would establish, say, big window presence at this late into the round, but at the same time they really are not insisting on their previous positions, right? So it seems to be a bit of a down or a bit of a, I don't know, break in the previous push.
Yeah, I like how the Maverick right there didn't get too aggressive. You know, once he jumped in, instead of going and peeking into site directly, he backed off and waited for his teammates to get a little closer. However, it would be better to see this Jaeger maybe play a little bit more aggressive. It's coming down to the last 40 seconds, and it seems like he wants to go for a lay flank. I'm expecting there to be a Nomad on that door, so he's really going to have to wait for the last 20 seconds, which could get risky if the attackers get control of site.
Absolutely. I mean, in a third-person perspective, yeah, Gohan isn't going to go too aggressive, and of course he could hardly afford to have Ormaka turn around. Like you're saying, if he's already on site, then he can't capitalize on the Nomad, but if he does that, well then, I'm just echoing what you just said. It would be really dangerous if attackers were to be on site, but Axis here is going to have the Vulcan shield turned against him. I hear a Nitro Cell. Oh, but it's got shut down. Fentic's getting a nice kill. That's just a flurry of frags, and Gohan here going for the late roam. He gets shut down. All this for nothing. Axis last player alive, and that is not going to hit. Chroma with a nasty little double kill. One with the main gun and one with the pistol.
So I really have to just explain what happened right here, because like I can't stress this enough that I keep seeing over and over again with teams in this level, and I hope everyone, you know, who plays comp at this level can hear me right now. When it gets to the last 20 seconds of defense, stop playing in corners. You have to peek them, because look what happened. Two people jumped in the big window without getting any content station. No one peeked them, no one threw a smoke grenade at them. Two people were just able to jump in the big window and then make it all the way deep in the site and then have, you know, get new positions behind cover. When it's down to the last 20 seconds, you should not be playing behind cover holding an angle. You should be going for wide peeks and making it, because think about it. If you're in the last 10-20 seconds, that's exactly when the attackers are going to be in movement pushing in. If they're pushing forward and you do a wide peek, you're going to catch them off guard. Right there, none of the defenders peeked. They all stayed behind cover. What happened? Two people jumped in window, and then it was too late to peek. They peeked out when they were already in, and they had better positions with new cover by being in sight and killed off the entire team. Also, the flank was too late.
Also, the flank was too late, just to add it on top of that. I really do love casting with, because that really does explain really well that just illustrates really well what I said earlier, right? Your approach is really, really applied, and I would have seen that, said that, or even like taken note of that. So thank you very much. Like late roam or late game defenders have to be more aggressive. I would be playing for time too, but then again, playing for time when they're already on site is kind of a moot point. Exactly what we saw. Impact taking the first round on the scoreboard. As you can see, Impact lost only one player, and that was Bad Bunny, their entry frag, I'm going to suppose here. All around, a great loss for MishMash, and they really have to turn this around. At this point, the previous round, previous strat isn't just something they can tweak a slight detail here and there to try and fix it. You have to make major changes. For example, Gohan likely isn't going to try to roam too aggressively. As you can see, Axis did breach a hole in the floor, so I guess this is where Jaeger's going to be roaming near the end of the round. And with any luck, because that was the true angle that was used by the attackers, right? With any luck, that could be enough, but to me, that does not seem like a great update to the previous setup.
Yeah. Seems like they're going for pretty much the same attack. Hopefully the defenders change something up. You know, the thing is that for most of the round, right, the beginning of the round and then, you know, the first 2.5 minutes of the round were well played. It's really just that final 30-20 seconds that they were at fault for. So hopefully they can fix that out, and that should make them win the round.
It looks like Kenny is playing quite aggressive. Really, I feel like MishMash are doing what they were doing, but they're just tuning it up, right? And that might be working. Kenny already taking some amount of damage. That was one of Bad Bunny's infiltration charges, right? That was not going to be enough, but right here, reverse vertical might be just enough. Unfortunately, not Kenny getting the first kill. So Bad Bunny once again being, you know, the only attacker, sorry, to fall thus far. And Gohan still uncontested. He really knows what not to do again. I would say it looks like MishMash have found a way how to counteract Impact Gaming or Impact Elite. Of course, the round is not yet over and by a long shot, but the early picks really are going MishMash's way. As I say this though, Axis, your plant denial lost by a nasty grenade. That was Armaka, who already is an addict. He really is going to have a hard time to jump down of that ledge because the entirety of the wall is soft. But he already did make a really good progress, especially considering the timer.
Loading the magazine.
Yeah. Good kills coming out right here. I mean, that aggressive peek from Ash, he wanted to get a little kill through the hole, and then just the kite having just a way better angle down onto the hole was very, very nice to see. That nade kill as well, probably after baiting that ADS out, taking advantage of the new ADS rules, if you will.
Yeah, they're so much weaker now, and I guess it's really good when you want to just use up a bunch of utilities, say for example to deny an ace charge. That could have been interesting, but then again, they're so much weaker because they're meant to eat up the utility dump. So when you have only 1 or 2 frag grenades and you're actually trying to get a kill, that still works, because it almost seems like it's no longer their primary purpose. That nitro cell was the bear, the diffuser, 2 kills in rapid succession, and now the attackers are dropping like flies, and there you have it. MishMash Gaming will be winning the round. They really did know how to adapt. So my initial prognostic was wrong, right? At the very beginning, I said, hey, that setup seems very similar to the previous one, and they lost in such a bad way that just tweaking the existing formula likely isn't going to be enough. Well, you proved me wrong, so congratulations to MishMash.
Yeah, so what happened right there was, well, what happened right there was a mistake on actually the attackers this time. You could see how they were a lot more spread out, right? This time they had, you know, the guy in attic was lit up, and then they had another guy on bedroom door, and then I think they had one guy run up white stairs or something like that. So they had like only one person on big window, when last time they had 2 people. So it seems like their positions were spread out. It wasn't the exact same as the first round, which could have effect in losing the round. Obviously, Ash dying out pretty early does also have an effect in losing the round, because last time they had, you know, 5 men up for pretty much over half the round, which was definitely a great benefit. But also on the defender side, it seems like they peaked slightly sooner. You see how when that Maverick ran into sight, that Valk was already peeking ready.
Yep.
Obviously, she was not aiming for him. She was aiming for the door, but at least she was actually peeking, looking for someone to come in, which is definitely what they want to be doing, and it worked out in their favor.
So looking at this next defense though, once again, I'm gonna go like against MishMash in my early prognostic. 2 ADS devices just isn't enough to protect that deployable shield, and if the attackers can take a quick control of elbow, especially if they can get the wall soft, that is a sure way of winning the round. And I mean, not having a Wamai, not having any kind of magnets there, or anything else that could like eat up utility, I don't know, a second shield, a Melusi, anything you might want to destroy with like an Ash or a Zofia charge to, you know, alleviate the pressure on the ADS devices could be useful, but I don't see anything like that. So yeah, Axis is likely to receive like 2 flash nades, and then he's gonna be flushed out.
Yeah, so I mean, with this basement defense, you really have, like, if you want to extend into that blue bunker room and the pillar, you really have to put utility. You have to put manpower there and utility, because if that's the strat that you choose to do, you have to hold it down well, because if they end up getting control of either the pillar or the bunker, your strat is basically over. So they really need to focus a lot of people on there. And right now it seems like there's only 2 people. It seems like there's one guy in pillar, one guy in bunker, which is the default that you would say. But if those 2 people die and they lose pillar as they just did, and they start putting pressure from bunker, this strat 1 minute in is already down to the few people that are left in A-bomb with no shields, nothing else to hide behind.
Yeah. Yep. The initial push, or the initial setup, seems to be going pretty decently for MishMash, right? Utility usage isn't contested too much. Ace or Maverick. I mean, of course, map control yet has to be properly established. Say pillar control would be huge for impact right now, and Bad Buddy's going to be working on that. He does hear the evil eye, and of course, there's no ADS device here to deny that. So yeah, first smoke grenade, second smoke grenade actually being tossed out. Surprisingly enough, I mean, the deployable shield still does hold. The ADS devices are shut down, and now he's going to have to go. If he gets pushed or he gets rushed by Chroma, that's going to be the end of him. Oh no! Oh no, he choked there. Kenny could have stuck to his guns. That's now a 3v5 situation. 3v4 now. Hatch control could be really good. Right here. Oh, is he gonna? He sees the gun, but no, he's not gonna get a nice angle on that. Who exactly is that? That's Chroma, right? Nonetheless, Gohan could drop quite easily to deny the plant the diffuser. Poor trigger discipline though. He missed out on a free kill there. Kenny is going to be doing his job, but gets refragged immediately after. In a 1v3 situation, Gohan will have to drop down, and his chance of survivals are, well, now down to 0.
Trigger discipline was the exact word I was going to say right there. But if we zoom out a little bit, so let's start with the attackers. They pushed it back, they took control of pillar, or at least they cleared out pillar pretty quickly. Then that smoke. So once they blew up his shield, he was on ADS and just standing still. It seems like he didn't expect someone to push him. That could have been a mistake on the smoke's part. But regardless, even if it was ADSing, the attacker still won that gunfight. But obviously not not being ADS makes it a lot easier. And then boom, now they have pillar control and they have bunker control, right? So what happens after that? You pretty much lose the round as a defender, because they have the rotate, they have control of pillar. All they have to do now is just peek you on a site, and then now the attackers are stuck in sight with no cover. We could see Kaid was using that little closet room, but he can't do much damage from there. The only way he can really peek them is by moving out and then exposing his body, which there's so many angles he can expose to. You know what I mean?
Totally. Absolutely. I feel like that round was kind of similar to the previous one, to the very first one actually, where MishMash do have their strategy, which organically doesn't work against Impact Elite, but all they have to do is figure out what exactly didn't work, and then they can maybe, adapt the formula, being a bit more aggressive or a bit more reactive in the case of the smoke, right? And by the way, Kenny's now playing smoke. I don't believe he was on that operator before. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did they swap? I know also that Maestro is no longer there. I believe Shadi has rotated to an Echo, so that drone is likely going to be a bit more, subtle. Still gets shut down pretty easily as soon as you know about their presence, which is why sending one of them in there might be a bit too aggressive. Oh no, he's just taking intel. Because the drones no longer are, invisible compared to before. Well, ancient history at this point when you consider the rate at which updates are coming. But basically, that Echo drone is unlikely to stay alive at the end of the round.
Yeah, I mean, this could really go good for Impact again, because once again, the problem with this strat is that they have to put a lot of effort in the back, and if that effort gets taken out, that utility, the manpower back there gets killed, you basically lose the round. So they really need most of their team to be here and making sure that they're really pressuring the attackers and not letting them get in.
They're going to be doing their best. I also like to see how the Devolted Shield has been moved, because last time it got destroyed by Astro Zofia, not exactly sure who that was, and he got flushed out. I mean, he just dies here, so that really is a moot point. Amy really isn't going to get revived there. So it's already basically a 3v4 situation. That round is moving so much faster than before. Bad Bunny finishing the kill on the army. But I mean, technically, who else is a great threat? I would say Kenny still has full control of Elbow, plus he has 3 smoke canisters. Thing is, the timer is not going down fast enough for him. The attackers are going to funnel in. Soon enough, Axis is falling back pretty far, right? He would be hard-pressed to deny a plant of the diffuser, so Shadi really is going to be the first line of defense if somebody wants to come down through pillars, well, Axis kind of is holding an angle, but, you know, then again, he's not exactly holding it too forward. Smoke canisters are going to be useful because this time Kenny does get to reinforce the wall, and now really they can all turn their guns to Bad Bunny and, you know, the main corridor.
Yeah, I mean, let's see how this round plays out. But unfortunate mistakes from that Goyo peeking, you know, pretty aggressively when he didn't necessarily need to, and then getting killed and then losing that pillar control pretty quick. There's still a minute left, but as we can see, they have the entire pillar control right now, and it's down to 2 people. So,
I mean, if I was to play devil's advocate, there's only 2 ways in, right? Through the one door or through the corridor. So as long as the defenders hold their angles and don't lose their gunfights, they could still pull this off. I mean, 3v2 situation isn't that big of a disadvantage, but still, you can feel that they're getting some big amount of pressure. So he puts one down, does not get the second one. Everything comes down to Axis, who still has a nitro cell, does not get flashed. If Fantix plants, Riser is the only one to cover the plant. And basically, that creates an artificial 1v1 for just a short few seconds, but that might just be enough. Diffuser now is down and Axis is low on health. Fantix was there to finish him off, and Impact will be winning round number 4.
yeah. So, you know, this is something that I tell a lot of people for this basement defense, you know what I mean? There's 2 real viable ways you can actually defend that site nowadays, right? The first one is doing that, but then putting a lot more importance on that back, right? Maybe having a roamer flank that tower early. Maybe have, you know, a player in E-box ready to peek the staircase, you know, as well as the Goyo in pillar. If that doesn't work, what they should be doing is completely giving up. They should, you know, reinforce off bunker. They should, you know, give up pillar in the first minute, and play the site using the A-bomb site instead. Now the reason why is because then they can focus all of their utility on A-bomb, and then from there, when the defenders finally get control of maybe the B-bomb site, they can throw C4s or throw smoke bombs over, and then delay their time, right? Push them back into pillar from the C4s and smoke bombs, and then play the site by using the A-bomb, which offers a lot better cover. And instead they can focus on, you know, pushing back their shields a little bit safer, where they won't get destroyed early, and then they can use them for a little bit longer.
Once again,
But if
really
not, if
do
we
love
talk
your
about
approach.
the attackers from that,
Yes. One thing I do notice.
that.
One thing I do notice, they weren't bringing on IQ before, and now they are. Okay, being in his drone's POV is not going to bring us much, but for example, the Echo, the Yokai drone, they have not been shut down, if I am not mistaken, or at the very least we didn't see them getting shut down. So I may have given Echo too little credit, and Bad Bunny's presence might be useful for that. Then again, there also is the issue of Valkyrie. The cameras aren't exactly subtle, but you can get creative in how you want to toss them out. Other than that, I mean, it's not as if they were trying to shut down goo mines. So really, Bad Bunny's playing the gun first and foremost. But the intel gathering is also going to be quite useful, I suppose.
Yeah. I think what he realized maybe was that he didn't necessarily need all of the Ash charges. He's maybe, you know, he thought that maybe IQ would bring more utility on the board and a decent gun. However, what I wanted to quickly say that I said last time that I was on the stream was that as an attacker, you usually have 3 steps, right? Your first step is the initial push, right? What map control are you going to take? Right now, they're taking attic. Okay. Now, the second thing is, what's your objective? What wall are you going to breach to peek in a site? They're going to breach the attic wall. And then the final thing is, what are you going to do in the last 20-30 seconds of the round to get into sight? And that's the most important part that I want to see right here. So what's their initial map control? It's tower, okay? What's their objective? It's the tower breach. Now, what are they going to do to be able to get into sight? Because now there's Goyo shields here, and a lot of people that are ready to push them back. So we really have to see how they're going to adapt to be able to get into sight.
Yeah, exactly how do you want to go about that? And it's interesting because they're quite successful, right? They flushed out the MishMash defenders already, but then again, MishMash kind of were counting on that, which is why they did open up the wall there. I mean, if I just take the third-person view right there, anybody that drops feet holds are going to be the end of the attackers. There's very few players with the smoke canisters, Fantix, and he would likely want to keep it to cover the plant, I suppose. So they are going to have to just shoot their way through. As you can see, Axis here is holding an angle that should not allow anybody to drop. And right there, however, being too static in a game that rewards one-shot headshots is a death sentence. Chroma also gets a kill, but Kenny is going to get the first kill of the defenders. Bad Bunny kind of seems to be looking for Gohan, but Gohan, I would say, is likely to find him first. Oh, no. Okay, so they just move in the wrong direction to meet each other. So is going back on site? Yeah, he is. Diffuser has also been lost. It's in the closet right there. Okay, so I guess that means Shoddy with a nitro cell from beneath could be quite dangerous. Kenny peeking in, feeling aggressive. That gets rewarded, but the drone had intel on him. He gets shut down immediately, and Shoddy using his one and only nitro cell for next to nothing. 25 seconds on the clock, roughly, and now he's gonna have to get back on site. That air jab can get destroyed quite easily. But, I mean, he's taking his sweet time, and that is not going to be good now the diffuser is likely to get planted. Plus, Ormak is right there.
Yeah. So, you know, Rainbow is a really psychological game, right? We can see that now IMP is picking up the pace, right? They're winning multiple rounds in a row. And what I usually say is that there's two things that can happen from this. First, you start off with a positive, right? By getting more momentum, you get a little bit of an edge on the opposing team, because the more rounds in a row you get that momentum. You know, you start clearing rooms faster, you start maybe winning more gunfights. You feel that power, right? But then the downside is that you might get a little bit more cocky. Maybe down the road they might get over aggressive. Maybe, you know, they might try to rush in a site or peek when they shouldn't, and then that's when, you know, their luck ends and their streak ends. However, on the MMG side, losing multiple rounds in a row can really bring down the team morale. What can happen is that specific players might decide that, hey, my team is losing rounds, it's all on me, it's my fault, I have to do something about it, and then they try to do a solo play to get a couple kills, but then they end up dying early. So they go for like a very high risk play. So hopefully we don't see that coming out now after losing 3 rounds in a row. Hopefully we don't see any defenders trying to, you know, run out or spawn peek or do something really risky which could get them killed. If it works out in their favor, then it works out in their favor. But if it doesn't, then that just hinders the team.
Yeah, furthermore, I mean, this map is defense-sided, wouldn't you agree? And MishMash on the quote-unquote easier side are having a hard time to win any kind of points and momentum, exactly what we're talking about. So at best, right, at this point, since this is the 6th round, at the end of this round there's going to be the role swap, well, they could just barely get a 4-2 split, which is really, really not encouraging for the defending team. Wow, English. So, yes, they're going to be having a really, really hard time when it comes to attacking.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
I'm not making broad statements, but I truly don't know how MMG are going to be playing on offense. So Impact, they're really well versed in the 20 seconds meta, so I suppose that their defense is going to be going just the same. And if I remember correctly, MishMash also were the kind of team that would be slow and methodical, aka 20 seconds meta. So yeah, both teams having a similar play style. Really, that is going to show, if they both do the same thing, who is just better at doing that one specific thing.
Yeah. Well, based off these rounds, we can tell that IMP definitely has a slight edge as a team over MMG, just based off the way that they're playing as a team, and you know how they're playing in general. But MMG still has a chance, right? You know, if they can, you know, fix that mistake that they're making in the late round and win more gunfights, as Gohan just did, which is really what it comes down to. You know, it's Rainbow. Anything can happen. It's player versus player, so gunfights go a long way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I want to just go back to the fact that MishMash have been destabilized recently. Oh, and that cross angle from Fentix. Nicely done. Kenny, who was their IGL or team captain, I would be the proper term, before, he is now no longer officially part of the team, so he is just subbing in tonight. And, you know, those roster changes, especially, you know, high-level players, roster changes never are good for a team's performance, at the very least not in the short term. And this is exactly where we are right now, if you look at when exactly the roster update has occurred last. So, at the end of the day, it is really unfortunate, because MishMash, they were a force to be reckoned with before, and they seem to be struggling hard tonight. And it's not the same. It's not the first time that I've been making a comment of this kind since the beginning of the season. But Ormak is just playing the vertical game, not hitting too many shots. Axis also putting Chroma out of his misery. Now a 3v3 situation. You could technically argue that here Fentix has vertical, but Axis really seems to be ready for him. Yeah, that's not gonna hit. There definitely is a drone or something, or a Valkyrie camera, should I say, feeding intel, but that No, but you saw the Electroclaw. Plus, he's ace. So, I mean, he just has to shoot it down.
Point Selma.
Oh gosh, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. So, Kenny goes down. Army, last player alive in a 1v2 situation. And I don't even have time to finish this. That he's already dead.
So, there's just one mistake that I noticed, right? And so it was their strat basically. Their strat was based off of holding upstairs, right? You saw how they had a Maestro and another player upstairs. The problem was that they were playing too passive, right? What's the number one most important thing in this game? It's map control. When you're roaming upstairs and you're letting the attackers take bedroom, take attic, and then, you know, clear you out because you're stuck basically in pit, in the attic pit, or stuck in bedroom, you give them so many angles to pressure you from. When you're roaming, when you're doing a strat where you're holding down a certain map control which is off the objective, you have to be fluid. You have to move around the rooms. You can't let the attackers take control too quick, because then what's going to happen is they're going to use all those different angles and pressure you into a corner, and then eventually that Maestro was forced to peek an angle that Zofia had and got headshotted pretty quick because that Zofia was already ready. She was already in position.
Yep. Yeah, individual gunfights really go a long way in this game, because, I mean, butterfly effect, I don't really think I have to go to delve too much deeper into that. If you have a numerical advantage because of the first kill, well, then you can use that numerical advantage to gain even more kills, and, you know, it just snowballs out of control from there. Interestingly enough, I mean, round 7, right, we didn't exactly mention it out loud, but this is the role swap, so Impact will now be defending, MishMash will now be attacking. Why am I mentioning this? Well, because now we can basically contrast and compare both teams' play styles. For example, this is a defense setup, a basement setup, sorry. And Riser, okay, he may not be remaining in the top floor, but Bad Bunny likely is going to be spending some amount of time here, because you don't reinforce those attic walls without a good reason. I mean, reinforcements are a somewhat scarce piece of utility or resource, should I put it that way? So already you can sense that Impact are way more aggressive. Bad Buddy doing something that Axis tried before, just like his nemesis before him. Well, then Gohan here isn't going to take any amount of damage.
Yeah, so like I explained, that momentum is coming to play. I mean, Bad Bunny is definitely feeling that 4-round positive difference right now, and going for a little aggressive peek. But luckily, he didn't get cocky. He ran back upstairs after taking a shot, and that was great. This is how they're going to win this round as well.
But that is also likely to become resource intensive, right? So Rise are already getting a first kill. I mean, they're actively shooting down drones, and they're just waiting for the attackers to come to them. And of course, you get spotted out, you run away, and rinse and repeat. And I mean, that's going to be time intensive, absolutely. Army getting a kill on Bad Bunny, but that's Jaeger. I mean, at this point, Rise would be a greater loss because he just keeps on regenerating those goo mines.
Yeah, so we didn't get to see exactly how Zofia died, but I think that it slightly proves my point. You see how Gohan died before Ash was close enough to refrag her. What does that mean? Basically, you know, theoretically, that means that Gohan was pushing in a little bit too aggressively. He wanted to push in and kill that guy on white stairs, because in his head he's like, hey, my team is down, I have to get this kill. What happened? He took that 1v1 without having his Ash close by. He lost the gunfight, and then Ash was too far behind to refrag, and boom, now it's one man down on attack, and then Kenny wasn't able to refrag. They did kill someone else upstairs, and then MMG was able to kill another roamer upstairs, which is great. But Gohan, their Zofia player, is down with all his utility.
And Gohan was a top fragger in a great many games that I've casted from MishMash, so that is not a small loss. Currently, he's not performing too well, but you could argue the team as a whole is having, you know, issues or having troubles getting too many kills, so you can't hold that against him too much. At the same time, with 50 seconds on the clock, with man advantage from MishMash, I could still see them taking this round, even though on a, you know, positional standpoint, they're going to be hard pressed to funnel in. Chroma can shut down both Amy and Axis pretty easily, and I mean, I don't see any kind of attempt for pillars or even blue bunker. So if Chroma is just an aim god, if he's just a full-blown bolo, he could win the round on his own.
Very true. Down to 20 seconds. I mean, this is the important part of the rounds. So we have a guy in freezer, a guy in main, good angle right there. The guy in main is injured, unfortunately, so the push is completely resting on what they can do from the freezer. Nice quick peek from Chroma. Now it's pretty much over. Oh, it's actually 1v1.
Yeah, but he's not gonna get that angle right there. Rakes her. saving the round. Impact now in a match point situation, if I can count properly, right? 6-1, that's no small lead. At this point, MishMash would be extremely hard pressed to bring this into overtime. And even if they did, overtime in and of itself only means that you've brought this back to an equilibrium state. That does not mean that you have the upper hand, or that does not mean that you are likely to win. Well, if we had a 6-6 situation, that would imply that MishMash got the clutch, got the comeback, and technically they would have a momentum, but that's the only thing going for them if we were to even make it there in the first place.
Yeah. So let's talk about that round real quick. I mean, they had a pretty good roam clear. As for the attackers, I mean, they took what they needed, and then they were, they were able to clear the roamers, right? We had that Hibana who caught that Jaeger flanking pretty early, very nice kill, and then we had the other attacker, I think it was Ash maybe, who killed the Wamai, who I'm not too sure if he was already roaming or if he flanked up White and then went upstairs. Regardless, good roam kills. Unfortunately, like I said, Gohan pushing a little bit too aggressively. He should have waited for Kenny to support him in that gunfight. But then, they pushed down and they tried to go for a main and a freezer. That can work out, but it's really dangerous because it really comes down to what utility you have left, right? If you have to destroy Barb, if you have to destroy a shield. Luckily, there didn't seem to be any shields on the front side, but the attacker getting injured on the main push was very, very important because that leaves two people left in freezer who can't do much, right? All they have is a breach and a door, and the defenders can get so many better angles, unexpected angles, that's quite hard to push into something there.
Which is arguably exactly what we saw, by the way. I want to point out the fact that we have 3 ADS devices. I saw at least 1 magnet be tossed in here, and I mean, having all of that utility to protect one of the alibis seems underwhelming. So I can only imagine that somebody's going to be trying to anchor down in that cross angle or that crossway, because arguably, I mean, there's basically 3 doors and a breach behind him. So if Fentix can stay there, he can shut down a great many kind of entryways or paths that lead into the objective. So that's why he's going to be there, but at the same time, he's in a potential crossing angle between 4 different doorways or 3 doorways and 1 proper wall behind him. I don't see why Ace would breach that, but you still see what I mean, right? He's putting himself at a great risk for a great potential.
Yeah, I mean, that's a cute little setup. I don't know how long he's going to survive in that room. I mean, there's a window in the hallway. People can push from armory, but he could make it work. Those ADSs, if the attackers decide for some reason to push that shield from the bedroom side, head on, then he could make that work, but maybe not.
So it looks like they have embedded the Electro Claw into the wall. Kenny is unlikely to find it. He can still try. If you don't know the trick, when you're from behind a wall, is that going to work? It doesn't work. As you can see, the Electro Claw is on the width of the reinforcement in between both axes, is just taking some amount of damage. Here, Kenny also taking a lot of damage, but Fentix so far is still going strong. In the staircase right there, there's going to be a threat. Kenny taking a lot of damage, but of course, still alive. And Fentix is not exactly holding objective either, right? If Shadi has, an opening, he could maybe even try to sneak a plant through big window. I mean, that's wishful thinking, but all that to say, Fentix would be hard-pressed to deny a plant while he's also having his own hands full of the multiple angles he's holding at once, right? That's a big task for him. That smoke grenade is going to be useful because at this point, really, it is a pincer, a flank or a pincer movement. Wow, that we're seeing right now. Shadi being the bearer of the diffuser is going to be really interesting as Fentix gets knifed, by the way. So yeah, like you said, cute little setup. He didn't last the entire round. You could argue he played for time, but still, 2v4 situation, Riser being really low on health. I think MishMash are going to take this one.
It's very possible, but look how all 4 of them are bunched on the east side. So what that means is that the defenders have a lot of room to move around. They don't have to be afraid of White. So since they have a lot of room to move around, they can go for peeks and pick them up one at a time. So that's one, but unfortunately that he forgot about the guy on the door, and also very unlucky. Riser was not going for a peek at the same time as his teammate, and that left the attackers with 2 1v1s. They could deal with each defender 1% at a time, and they were able to win it out. However, that Kaid on that wall is interesting me. Do you think that if you Ash Charge the ceiling right there, it will get it? Because if not, that is a very overpowered Kaid that I have just learned.
Yep. I've known for this trick for quite some time, and I mean, even an IQ would be hard pressed because Yeah, that's the thing, right? Whenever you have a reinforced wall from the other side, you get to destroy the soft wall before you make it to the proper metal panel. So if you place them like back to back the reinforcements, or not from the same angle, both of them, that's crucial. You couldn't have just both of them reinforced from the other side. You can then like destroy the wooden wall and embed it basically into the wall, and then Ash would have to get like the angle to get it detonated. But even then, if it was to detonate on the say proper side, or on the wall that's been placed on the proper side, well, technically the electric claw is in an alcove, right? So you really have to hit it correctly, which is where at this point you would have more luck getting a Twitch drone in there. Thatcher, of course, has been banned, and I wouldn't expect a Kali to be brought into here. So yeah, or maybe even like fused through the sandwich window. But once again, we're not going to be seeing a fuse in that situation. So yes, like you said, really overpowered. Try it yourself. As you can see, once again, they're going to be doing the same thing. The electric claw hasn't yet been planted, so let's look exactly as to how he's going to make it. As you can see right there, really hard to get to.
As long as they don't have an alibi putting up a cute little setup and trophy, I think that IMP will take this round. I mean, this site is really default. They can hold it down pretty good just by using the bedroom and the bunk big window area. I mean, there's a lot of cover to play around. As long as they have one, maybe two roamers to make sure that the Ash and Zofia don't go under and blow up their feet, then they should win this round in the back. I mean, they have a smoke that can smoke through the cement walls. And kill the person that's gonna plant in default spot if they even make it there.
So, match point, that hasn't changed. Impact, of course, having lost the defense, they can go there again, and they are doing just that. So both teams have an opportunity for learning, for example, the kite alcove thingy. Right there, it looks like Impact are not learning as fast as MishMash, as they're going to be taking a first death pretty early on, all things considered, right? Nobody holding that angle right there, and of course, that's a lot of utility just being forfeited. And yeah, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, just to quickly talk about what happened, we can see that this match point, momentum effect has finally turned for the negative. If you saw where Ormak died, he died on the breach that was being Maverick open. What that means is that he felt like taking a risk and peeking through the holes. Obviously, Maverick clearly had a better angle and caught him, killed him very quickly. He was ready for it. So Kite doesn't have to be doing that. He's a Kite. He has a C4. He can just be playing back and just chilling. But he went for that aggressive peek, and that was not necessary. Riser right there went for. Well, he was actually stuck. He was stuck in a position with no cover. Attic got lost, and then they just, peeked that door without any teammates peeking it back, and he was basically a lost cause. I mean, he was getting pinched from two places, and he had no teammates helping out. That was unfortunate timing for him.
Absolutely, like you're saying, like they just let the momentum get to their heads. I see a drone taking intel. Chroma also spotted out. That is good for him, because any kind of disadvantage that you can mitigate at this point will be huge for Impact. Diffuser's being planted. Chroma is now out of smoke canisters, and he gets another frag. Oh gosh, that's a shotgun, but he's gonna miss the shot. Bad Bunny with 2 kills also. Down to the pistol, he sees the diffuser, but can't exactly get to it right now. So, if he pulls this off, this is going to be map for Impact. There's one to the right, there's one in front of him, he gets the one. Kenny now in a 1v1 situation, health pool is going to be extremely similar for both missing their first salvo. That wall hasn't been breached, so there's only one way, and that's going to be the way of the dinosaur. For Bad Bunny, MishMash keeping that round and that game as a whole alive for yet another round. Nicely done. They had the upper hand, but that clutch situation almost ended up coming to pass.
Yeah. So let's talk about that round real quick. I mean, the beginning of the round was okay until that Kaid felt like he needed to peek that breach hole. Way too aggressive. That pretty much costed them the round. Afterwards, you have Fentix, who maybe forgot that they lost attic control and got killed by a Maverick who was full wide peeking already deep in attic. Maybe he wasn't ready for it. No, what am I saying? Fentix was in a corner and then got peeked from attic because he was pretty much pinched. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. However, in the late round, I like how when those two people left, they waited to regroup, right? They waited, and then Smoke did a wide peek on the attic. At the same time that Smoke wide peeked, that Jaeger peeked through the rotate hole and went into the games room area and killed the person who defused the bomb and whatnot. That was great timing. Very unfortunate miss by the shotgun.
Oh, yes.
And that could have definitely been a round-changing kill. It wasn't. Jaeger, who then after killing the person who planted the bomb, got a very nice kill on the person who was crouch-walking through the rotate into the attic pit. Just a little tip, never crouch through rotates like that and wide peek. If you crouch through a rotate and then wide peek, as you saw in that kill cam, you know, it's a pretty easy kill. I mean, you're slowed down or whatever. I wouldn't recommend crouching to a rotate like that when someone is holding an angle on you. You can just play it safe, wait for it to defuse. But then luckily Ash was able to go for a little bit of a peek and kind of win that out. So definitely getting, you know, close rounds right now.
So if you were to even like bring this back, what if Jaeger, Bad Bunny, when he was on white stairs, what if he was to run down the stairs and then, you know, run back up, say attic or main stairs to try and go for a flanking maneuver, like leaving his 2 remaining teammates alone in a 2v5 situation, basically, but with the hopes of, you know, getting a 1 or 2 shots in the attacker's backs. That would have been a gamble, but I suppose because you didn't mention it, it wasn't worth taking.
I mean, attic would have been way too long. I mean, that would not have worked. The defuse timer by then would have been down to, you know, 8 seconds maybe. However, the main stairs would have worked, but that is probably the riskiest option because, you know, they might have a drone or not even a drone. There's multiple people to worry about, right? There were still 3-4 people alive at that time. So even if he killed one guy, he still has to focus on the second and then on the third, right? But if he's already in sight, he kind of already knows where to pre-aim, maybe, and he can also use his teammate to his advantage to maybe use his teammate as a bait or something like that.
If we just come back to what just happened, the Magnet really did get the nade right onto Fantix, who was reinforcing. I was thinking, okay, Kurama's life has been forfeited by reinforcing that, but at the same time, the Magnet actively got turned against the former Masters. That Nitrocell isn't going to do too much. He gets one, but still a 1v3 situation. Okay, Riser really is on a tear. But then again, if Shuddy wants to plant, he likely is going to succeed in doing that. The cross angle, there's going to be a problem. The other one is going to be in the breach right there. But Pico's advantage is going to prevail. Pre-fires. Oh, he almost got it. Imagine if it was to work. But yeah, definitely Wamai didn't exactly understand how he died there. That was an unfortunate death if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, I mean, just another exhibit of why holding down that bomb site by extending into bunker and pillar is so risky and not part of the meta anymore. I mean, look how fast the attackers took control of pillar and bunker and how fast the defenders lost it. Once they did, the round was over. I mean, they had pretty much the entire site. They didn't even need to breach single wall. They were able to get inside, get a plant down, have people set up and just peek. And then since the defenders have no more cover, they have to go for gunfights. They have to expose their bodies and hope to get headshots. They clearly didn't. The attackers, you know, rinsed them, and Kai to get a couple, you know, nice headshots because the attackers kind of were running around, the first 2 at least. But very unfortunate how he looked away on that final kill. That could have maybe been a 1v5 clutch right there.
And at the same time, I mean, it just his 3-piece was worrying enough that Shadi was no longer planting the diffuser, and that means like both players had their guns up. And at that point, diffuser or the plant has already been stopped or cancelled out. And in a sense, his immediate threat was no longer active. He could have just, you know, laid back and waited out a bit longer. Not gonna say he was necessarily gonna win the round if he was to go for the passive approach, but that was at the very least another opportunity or possibility added to his inventory by, once again, forcing the attackers to cancel out the plant.
So IMP feels like trying the same defense. I mean, it could work out. Who knows? It's Rainbow. However, one mistake that I keep noticing is kind of like a mechanical mistake. Every time that smoke player, whether it's MishMash or Impact, their smoke player every time after losing that shield, they seem to just stay there. You know what I mean?
True.
They don't
Very
prone.
true.
They stay there, and the first guy was on ADS. I don't know if this time whoever was playing smoke last night, if it was Chroma, I don't know if he was ADS as well. Sorry, on ADS as well as the MishMash smoke was. But it seems like he just stayed there. He just stayed there with not much cover. He didn't even bother to prone, maybe to at least make his head way lower and maybe unexpected. Maybe use a shotgun at the close range. He kept the SMG and just got wide peek. And yeah, I like how they're reinforcing that off. This might win them the round, like I said. Closing that off and giving it up to the attackers and then playing the site from the A-bomb site can work out very well. This Goyo might have a play right now. I mean,
he's likely gonna get drowned though. There's a drone coming in right there. Missed round. Okay, that one didn't see him.
Yep. So now
I wouldn't be
MishMash is
surprised.
getting MishMash is getting, you know, that momentum
Oh,
to the
there you
point
go.
where never mind. I was gonna say to the point where they're forgetting the drone corners, but way too late. So yeah, you know what was Goyo's mistake right there, Hans? Goyo should have peeked way sooner. He got lucky the first time by not getting droned out. He got I would say greedy. He should have already went for a wide peek and tried to risk because he was already in a risky position. Might as well go for a
Yes.
risky peek instead of staying there.
Yeah, that's inherently risky being there. I mean, basically, you're hoping for your opponent to misdrone you, right? And hoping for your enemy to make a mistake at a high level of play. That kind of situation just doesn't work out too often. Fantix, the only defender to get a kill so far. Double kill at this point, right? Could potentially still get the ace. That's a triple kill for him. 3 times now. He's caught the attackers with the diffuser. That's gonna be a quad kill. He's even gonna finish this on an ace. Kenny now, last player alive. If Fantix was to go for a wide peek, he could finish this off right there, assuming he wants the gunfight. But hey, that really can go either way. Definitely the pressure has been flipped upside down, and Fantix is being quite insistent on that. But no, he gets shut down on the last kill. Kenny now in a 1v3 situation. If somebody can pull this off, well, R4C is one of the best guns in the game, arguably, but still, it is going to be a 1v3 situation, and the defenders still have plenty of utility. As I say this, I just realized Chroma, that was his last Toxic Babe. There's still a Nitro Cell from Riser, but that's basically the extent of it.
This could actually be really good. If he walks down this hall right now, pre-fires the guy Freezer, pre-fires the guy on the bomb, and then look, the attacker in A-bomb is playing way too passive. Wait, let's see.
Oh no. But that
No, he lost.
definitely...
Not enough time left. But you see
Yeah,
how that
yeah.
attacker in A-bomb is playing... Oh, now he's not passive anymore. Oh, unfortunate.
Yeah. I mean, the Nitro Cell, I suppose, was just a bait. Well, because, I mean, while he's tossing it, he doesn't have the gun up. So that would have been an opportunity.
Yeah, but yes, obviously, but it also wastes time. So it clearly scared
Yes.
Ash, and scaring him wasted time, which gave even the attacker in A-bomb the time to push up to the double door to get a stance to go for a peek. And they were able to win that round out. But yeah, interesting round. I mean, if we quickly talk over it, you know, that Goyo, he took his chances by not getting drawn out once. He somehow expected that it would happen twice in a row and that someone would just walk in behind him. He should have went for the peek a little bit sooner. He chose to keep playing his risky position. Didn't work out. He got drawn out the second time, got pinched. But then, you know, I've got the double Mai playing in the corner. I mean, just back to back, they just keep exposing their bodies. You just keep peeking them and proning. It's almost like they weren't pre-firing. Like, they knew in which corner he was in, but it seems like the attackers were just not pre-firing it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Very, very
Yeah,
unfortunate.
balancing out when you have to be passive and when you have to be aggressive, it really is an art in and of itself, right? Defenders should usually play for time, but I'm just echoing what you said previously, right? When the attackers already are on bomb site in the last 10 to 15 seconds, playing for time is too late. The attackers are in, and now you have to flush them out, basically. So I believe that was your one and only match.
Yep, that will be it for me on the stream. I guess, should I do a little outro?
Go ahead. Yeah, I mean, you just gave me 1 hour of your time, so the very least I can give back is, I mean, giving you a platform to just shut yourself out.
Sure. So,
Be my guest.
hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Hope I helped you guys out with some tips. My name is Pharmacy, Coach Pharmacy on Twitter. I do coach people, so if anyone in the chat, you know, maybe your team or maybe, you know, as a player, you like the way that I analyze how people play, how teams play, I could probably help you guys out. So hit my line, Coach Pharmacy. If not, fun match to watch. And Hans, I wish you a great time on the stream.
Thank you so much. So, I believe the other caster is already there. So we'll be jumping in and meeting with him soon. So yeah, thank you for being here and see you again next time.
Sir. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. See you, man. Bye-bye. And we're going to be jumping into a call with Vulgar. Okay, let's just tell him I'm in the server. There we go. Okay, just told that to Shoddy, and yeah, Vulgar should be joining us pretty quickly here. Vulgar is in the casting channel. Am I muted? Vulgar, hello. No, shoot! I thought I was in the casting channel. I was not in the channel. How are you doing tonight?
Good.
Wait, give me half a second. Let's get your camera on there. Oh gosh, what is the issue here? Oh no. Okay, the bent effect isn't going to be there on my camera. Sorry about that. But hey, how are you doing tonight?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Awesome. Always love to hear that. So did you see the first game? Like, were you on the stream and that kind of stuff?
No, I was away from my computer.
So just to recap this real quick, because I guess now would be a good time to also do a recap for the stream as a whole. First map was Oregon. So, kind of a kill-heavy map because I want to say like strategy and just being a brainiac or going at it from a brainiac's perspective only gets you so far, right? The array of viable strategies is pretty well known, and their classical counters also are really well known. So it comes down to execution, and basically gunplay wins the day. And on that front, Impact had a 6-1 lead. It got brought back 6-3. So, I mean, attempts being made, but they got shut down ultimately. That was their map, though. Now, MishMash Gaming are going to be playing on their favorite map, which is going to be Clubhouse.
Right on.
And how are you doing tonight? I mean, you're jumping in cold, right? But not too, I want to say like, not too tired or not too stressed out. You're a student, right? Homework, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, no, I'm just excited to get into the match.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to have you here. Absolutely. It's not too often that you like swap casters out mid-game. So I just wanted to bring you in like properly, not to get you into on a custom, that kind of stuff. Yeah, so if I just try to fix my goddamn camera real quick, why is my face not split? Oh, am I this dumb? I truly am this dumb. There you go. Okay. I just had the effect disabled. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so the players had asked for a small 5 minutes break. So I'm going to just say to the players, 5 minutes are technically up. Ready when you are. Let's see what the players say to that. Impact are ready, MishMash? What about you guys? So yeah, of course, Impact will have the momentum, the upper hand going in. Awesome. All right, well, you know the drill, guys. Good luck, have fun, and may the best team win.
Love you, Ants.
Arma. Love you too. So yes, absolutely jumping into this second map. I don't know why I just keep on cutting off every single word after I'm done saying them. That's kind of a tempo which doesn't sound too good, does it? So, like I said, Impact having the momentum. On the previous map as well, Impact, they got the early lead on attack. So they're attacking first here, just like they did before. And that's kind of a challenge, isn't it, on defense-sided maps? Let's see exactly how that plays out this time around. MishMash likely to ban Thatcher because, well, who else would they ban? Who's a higher priority than a Thatcher? And the prophecy was true. So at this point, go ahead.
Yeah, Thatcher being banned is not even it's more surprising to have Thatcher not banned on Clubhouse, especially. You just get rid of that wall denial as best you can. I mean, obviously, there's still the Maverick in play as long as he doesn't get banned here, which he actually does. So I'm eating my words. So now that means that there's going to be a huge difficulty in opening up walls as the attackers. You're going to have to see Impact either bringing a Cali or an IQ below or a Buck below for cash at least. In terms of basement, it's going to be even harder. Although the Cade being banned will be a boon for the attackers here.
So I always find this interesting, right? Because Impact, the attackers themselves, of course, they want to get rid of Cade for obvious reasons, but Maverick, that's one operator which they could have used to great effect for the first half of the game, right? I said this on the previous map as well, but basically, if I was in their shoes, I do realize this is definitely a double-edged sword and a bit of a risky play, but if you were to not ban Maverick, then you could use him, have the quote-unquote easier side if the attacking ban are weak and the defensive ban are strong. use that to get an early momentum, and once you get into the quote-unquote harder side because of the imbalance and operator bans once again, well, then you already have the momentum, and that could carry you through the harder part of the game. So that's like kind of my approach, but I realize that this is extremely risky.
Yeah, and the thing is, the team that banned MishMash, they might just not see themselves as good at Maverick tricking. Like, none of their players might be like proficient at Maverick tricking, but they might know what impact is. So, in that sense, it could make sense to ban the Maverick if they're not going to be able to use it as effectively as they think MishMash will. But we will go into CCTV first, and we'll have to see how the attack of impact are going to be able to open the wall.
I totally agree with you. I think another or a great example to illustrate what you just said would be, for example, Montaigne, right? The shield operator. So Montaigne, if you have a human wall running at you, that can be quite unsettling, but it's not exactly dangerous, right? It's annoying to go up against, but not the end of the world. But if you're up against a skilled Montaigne player, then you would definitely not want to play against him. So this is where, I mean, taking a useful operator off the board might truly be a net positive. But at the same time, I am basically using a roundabout way of describing a target ban, and I don't think these two teams know each other well enough to be going into target ban territory, especially since this is the beginning of the season, right? Later on, there's going to be enough VODs available of just about every team that you can scout them out proficiently, but we are basically not there yet. So let's see exactly how this plays out. One thing I do want to point out is both Thermite and Hibana being present, so a lot of hard breaching possibilities on the board for obvious reasons, opening up the garage wall right there, but that's jammed out. Not that there's a twitch, so I guess somebody's gonna have to get an angle, but that was also possible. And second is also going to be Riser with the Capitao. Interesting utility, but that really is to, you know, support a push. So that operator really does indicate to me at the very least that they're going for team play and a tactical approach, not just steamrolling through with like superior gun skill and just out killing your enemy basically.
Yeah, the Capitao is definitely a mark of a team that wants to play utility-based rather than pure fragging. Because while Capitao does have a decent weapon, his utility is just unparalleled on attack, really, among droppers that aren't banned, of course.
And speaking of which, Bad Bunny, Fentex, and Army, all three of them getting a kill. That's now a 3v3 situation. You've lost your two basically gunplay operators, right? Impact lost an Ash and a Zofia, whereas on the defense, I mean, UMP-45 definitely isn't the best gun, but the Vector is remarkable at close quarters. Basically, the attackers lost active pieces of utility, active gadgets, whereas Army and Axis's gadgets are already placed into the map. So on a technical sense, you could argue that Impact's losses are greater than MishMash's so far.
Yeah, for sure. And when you're even trading on in a round, that generally benefits the defense more than the attack. So we definitely see that here. But Impact will lose another player as Shoddy actually takes down Phoenix, but Riser gets the refrag onto Shoddy. So now it's a 2 versus 2. Jaeger and Smoke, two operators very powerful in the right hands, but the Capitao can perhaps aid in a push on the site.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, only using the smoke cover is only going to get you so far, right? Cutting down a line of sight is not going to help you in actively gaining map control. It only helps in keeping it if you want to, say, cover a plant. And especially if they only have basically the one window to come through, it's just not going to be enough. Kenny here using a nasty angle. That's going to be the end of Ormuk. So last player alive in a 1v2 situation, and that Capitao gun is just not strong enough. There you have it. Gohan winning round number 1.
Beautiful play coming up from MishMash here, and you see that synergy between the smoke canister forcing the Havana to push up or fall back, and she chose to push up and then went right into Gohan's waiting arms. Beautiful play from them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, at that point, what else could Ormuk have done? If you want to go for a rotate, they're going to hear you. Some cam somewhere is going to see you if you think about like the long way to go into, say, construction, right? And at that point, the defenders are just going to turn around and they're going to be expecting you, just like they were ready for him here as far as Rafters is concerned, or was concerned, should I say.
Yeah, and something to note here is that in Mishmash, they're going to gym and bedroom rather than the basement, which is generally the safer pick. This tells me that they're very confident in their play up here, and I'm excited to see if they have anything special for us to show us.
Interestingly enough, I mean, this defense is going to be unique. The one thing I'm going to point out is the total lack of both a Bandit and a Kate. Of course, neither of those operators... Oh, well, Kate has been banned, right? But Bandit hasn't been. So the thing is, Bandit Trixing has the potential of destroying Thermite and Hibana charges, whereas here, it's just not going to happen. And the ADS devices are just not going to eat up enough pieces of utility to deny to prevent the castle barricade from being destroyed. Ergo, the first Ashe that comes in tosses like one of her charges to get eaten up by the ADS device. The second one destroys the castle barricade, and then a single shot of one tap is going to destroy the mute jammer. So I feel like MishMash could have done a bit more to protect their jammers, because if you open up that wall, that's a whole angle that's been opened up for Impact Elites.
Yeah, and they didn't bring a Bandit either in the last round, so they seem to really be relying on this smoke or this mute play rather than the Bandit, and that could be because of the C4. Actually, they both have C4, I guess. Oh, but I guess if you have that SMG-11, you don't need anything else, because he gets a double kill. Kenny with beautiful SMG-11 headshots there onto both the Jackal and the Zofia. That is major, and with the SMG-11 no less, that range is a beautiful sight to behold.
Oh yes, definitely. 2 headshots. It's not as if they were just regular run-of-the-mill wall bangs. But now Kenny, he was off to such a good start. Having the ace would just be, over the top at this point. But Ormok is likely to funnel in. Thing is, he's Hibana, hardly an entry fragger, hardly a gun-focused operator. But then again, there's only Bad Bunny with the Ashe that is a gunplay-focused operator remaining. And it looks like the team as a whole is going to be in a full-blown rotation. Fentix here being in a very, very risky spot, as Kenny got a nasty kill from there before. But it looks like he's no longer there, actually. So really, it looks like Impact found their ticket into the building. And talking about just setting foot in the building as a whole, but halfway into the round is a very, very low bar to set. So that just is a testament to MishMash's strong defenses so far.
Yeah, and you see Kenny is actually here in the construction now, so he's still going to be preventing the rotate into construction for the for Impact and go on as well. But Kenny finally does go down to Ormok, and that's little consolation when it's 1 minute left. But Ormok leaving it out with a beautiful headshot to go on. Now it's a 3 versus 3 with a minute left. Suddenly, Impact are in the game again.
Yep, definitely. 55 seconds on the clock. They can still mount a convincing push, but of course there's going to be a few defenders putting their bodies in the way of the objective. Shotty here could almost get a double kill, but no, they're not going to be barely lining up. Bad Bunny with a double in rapid succession. Is he going to be able to chain them up? Axis now is going to have to try and deny the plant, but there's the castle barricade turning against its former masters. Axis is going to have oh, I was going to say unexpected positioning, but apparently Bad Bunny was expecting the unexpected.
Yeah, beautiful reaction from Bad Bunny. It looks like you just saw the beautiful flick there. And that is MishMash Gaming getting shut down very hard on the gym. So we'll have to see if they actually go there again or if they go to the more safe basement, which is what appears to be happening there.
You know what? I'm just gonna allow myself to get sidetracked a little bit. So this match was scheduled at 7, right? This is the second map, and now that Impact have won the first map, if that best of 3 was to be settled in a 2-0 maps-wise fashion, that would mean first and foremost Impact would have to win that match, which still has to happen. But then it was another match scheduled at 9 p.m. and if we don't go into a third map, I could supposedly just keep on going and cast this other match. I don't know if you would be interested in chaining them up, because I definitely didn't talk to you about that beforehand, but I'm contemplating it for myself at the very least right about now. Don't know about you, want to riff on that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely possible. I mean, I don't have much else to do right now, so it's maybe. If this goes a quick 2-0, then yeah, for sure.
Well, you know what? I'm going to let you cast over like the initial preparation phase. I'm going to just tell the players that, okay?
All right, perfect. So, yeah, so we have this pretty default setup coming out. We have the Goyo and the Malusi. Those are 2 operators that you don't often see, but on this side, it's not too surprising because they can both be used to slow down the attack very effectively. And we did see last round, the attack did get a little bit pressed for time, so that could be useful here in preventing a plant or delaying it at least for enough time. But now that the round started, we have the attackers pushing into the building, or they're going to be trying to at least, and the defenders are going to be attempting to stop them. See Bad Bunny here trying to come into the top floor, so this is going to be a top clear for Impact, which is smart because you don't know if there's any roamers or anything. It could have stick to visual or something, so that's definitely smart. Axis here is going to be trying to get to see if anybody's pushing into the kitchen. Nobody has so far, so this false scanner is going to be coming up empty. But that is still intel that there is nobody in kitchen, so that's still useful. Bad Bunny has appeared to have cleared the top floor. There's nobody actually playing it, and Chroma is also pushing down into the first floor.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, I want to just say one thing. MishMash, I don't remember exactly who that was, but was able to take the exterior camera, the default camera, onto canals and saw Ashes of breach into, you know, the balcony over there. So that was intel that should have been denied. I mean, destroying the exterior camera is one of the first things you're supposed to do at the beginning of every round. That Nitro Cell is not going to get shut down, and Chroma, I was going to say fall, but basically gets blown to bits and pieces. Army with the first pick, and that was one of your entry fraggers. Not exactly top fragger as Bad Bunny holds that title, but still a gun-heavy operator off the board. Would it be better to have blown up, say, Ormac as the Hibana, or maybe even the Thermite? Sure, but then again, Hibana and Thermite wouldn't have put themselves in the position to be blown up by a Nitro Cell, such as Chroma did. So you take the wins that you can get, and that is actually going to be Bad Bunny getting vertical onto Axis, looking for another one with the other breaching charge. I see somebody over there, but that somebody is, you know, behind the wall which has not been reinforced, actually. So I don't suppose the attackers are going to be expecting that. So Army really would have maybe some counter potential, but no, Bad Bunny still saw him and did inflict some amount of damage onto him.
I think so. Getting a kill onto Shoddy, that is the that's the Malusi down. So that's another C4 down. That is now no more C4s because Army has already used this. He did get a kill with it, but no more C4s does not plant. Just those smoke canisters with Kenny. But he only has one left in his pocket, as the other two have been used for Dirt Tunnel to delay that. And he's getting droned out now, and Rock is going to be trying to push him into him. He does take a little bit of damage on that smoke canister, trying to push Kenny out with the flashbangs, but he's utterly unsuccessful here. Being slowed down by that Malusi thing, and Army getting a kill in the meantime into Bad Bunny, but Kenny J with that SMG-11 and shotgun combo just going to take down Ormac. Now it is up to the two players of Fentex and Razor, but Razor goes down, and it's all up to Fentex.
Yeah, that's desperate. He could maybe get a kill, but he's never going to get the diffuser planted, and there you have it, Army with the pistol. Nonetheless, he was pretty insistent on those pre-fires, so I was worried that his position would be revealed, and, you know, you could be, with pinpoint accuracy, pre-firing onto Army there, because, I mean, pre-firing with a pistol is kind of ballsy, isn't it? At the end of the day, doesn't matter, he still gets a kill, so congratulations, and MishMash are going to be in the lead right now. They get the upper hand, which is something they never had in their previous map, so already outdoing themselves compared to their previous track record.
Yeah, I think Army actually was pre-firing so much that he actually ran out of bullets in that vector, which obviously does have a very limited ammo count and has a very high fire rate. So you do tend to burn through your bullets with that gun like really quickly. So I just found that really funny. I didn't actually get to see confirmation or not, but if he did end up running out of ammo in the vector and still got the last kill with that pistol, that's very interesting and humorous to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's the randomness of Rainbow Six, isn't it? Anything is quite literally possible. Hey, I really am the guy that's gonna get sidetracked and just does not care about that. We're now with 495 followers on the Twitch channel. That means we could actually hit 500s tonight if the community is active enough. I try to not like have my sense of like accomplishment be dictated by numbers, because you don't decide if people are going to show up or not. That's not something I control. But when things are going my way, well, I can still feel some amount of pride, can't I? So yes, hey, that's a big round number that we might even be hitting tonight. With that being said, except if you want to add something to that, let's talk about the defense, shall we?
So this is essentially the same defense that we saw in the first, because it worked, and so why change it? And yeah, and we have a similar setup coming out from the attack as well. Exact same operator lineup, with the Capital again that you noticed earlier on. And this mute jammer is going to need to be taken care of again. It looks like it just got shot, potentially.
It's
That's
gonna get
a
shot right
very
now.
long angle there.
Nope, still there.
Not actually shooting it though, so that is worrying. If
mean,
they
even
can't
then,
get the angle onto it.
if you wanted to double down on that, you could just use, an impact nade off of Chroma of the Sophia. And if as a defenders you wanted to double down on that, you could maybe hide the jammers behind a deployable shield. But it looks like Axis's presence on rafters is going to be a great deterrent, because Chroma isn't going to set foot into the garage as a whole to just destroy the jammer. But his failure in finding those nasty jammers is going to deny Armak basically all of his utility. You can't pick those pellets up like you could, for example, in a thermite charge. He gets a nice kill on Gohan, an unsuspecting Gohan, might I add. But one thing I would like to update is the fact that we did not have a castle this time around compared to the very first round. And of course, Castle was holding, landing over here. A very risky angle to hold. But then again, the point was to deny, for example, Bunny here to just blow up the ceiling and thus to destroy the mute jammer. Fantix now is going to breach a wall, which has been breached in the first round. It might have been, but a real substantial amount of pressure never has been exerted from that angle. So already, Impact are performing better than the previous time. One thing is for sure though, every time you go for the same defense or strategy as before, that gives the latitude to your opponents to adapt and update their playstyle to counteract you. So this is where I would say Impact kind of have the inherent advantage, and this definitely does show right now. It looks like Fentix is basically poised to funnel in and plant in the dead angle right here to the right. Smoke still has 2 canisters, so going at it too quickly could be dangerous as well.
Yeah, and Raptor's been cleared out as well because those Capital bolts forced Axis to try to rotate out, but he got caught in the rotate, so he's now dead. And now Impact should be able to just go for a plant behind those server racks pretty easily. I mean, there's one C4 left in the hands of Shoddy, but other than that, there's just the smoke canisters, which can be pretty easily avoided or even shot through. But Kenny J getting a nice shot onto Riser, so that is the Capital down, but Fentix now going for the plant, gonna try to get it off. Looks to be successful. C4 coming out from the grave onto Kenny J. Now all up to Chroma all up to Shoddy as he's in a 1 versus 4. Diffuser planted, and this is not looking good.
Definitely not. I mean, his kit is really good at close quarters, but the shotgun is just out of range here, and the SMG-11 is just not going to cut it in when phase 2, for example. Zofia's gun, what exactly is the name of that thing? M67, I believe, right? I mean, details being put aside, really, that was a situation that he could not win.
Yeah, some kind of AK, I think. I don't think it's called an AK, but some kind of gun based on the AK. But anyways, regardless, it's a lot better at range than the SMG-11.
Yeah. Oh, that was. I'm just going to send the players a quick little warning, because remember, remind me, I believe Thermite had some kind of skin on, right? It seems like he had some kind of a war paint on his face, and skins, except for like the handful that have been like whitelisted, are not allowed.
I didn't notice, but yeah, it's definitely possible. It's easy to accidentally leave on a skin or something if you're playing ranked or something you want to show off to everybody. But yeah, in competitive settings, yeah, you aren't supposed to have any skins except for Pro League skins. But yeah, so yeah, that's unfortunate, but not a massive deal if it's
definitely not.
Yeah, as long as it's not Ember Rise or Wind Bash.
as it's the one that turns you into a little ghost. Yeah, totally. Yeah, so right here, this is more or less what I talked about, right? MishMash, they played once, they got adapted, and they got beat. Now, Impact are the ones that if they do the same thing again might be predictable. Let's see exactly how that is going to turn out. Yeah, I can confirm he had his skin on, because even just from a first person, Therma has bandages on his hands, and they were quite white. They're supposed to be a bit more beige-ish,
Right.
So, right here, you can see if he, actually, where is that Fantix? Come on, God freaking damn it! He's droning out there. That's a skin. Not
Yeah.
too major because he's not that camouflaged, but you're still not supposed to have him. Okay, that being put aside, Kenny's going to be a bit more aggressive this time, and with reason, because if Bad Bunny gets to just shoot an ace or shoot a charge into the ceiling, the mute jammer is going to be gone once again, which is, I'm repeating myself, why Castle was there at the very first round. It is a quite risky maneuver to make, but if it works out, it pays off greatly. Has Chroma been able to open up or destroy the mute jammer? He has, and thus you can already see that access on Raptors is likely to be well flushed out relatively quickly.
Yeah, and the mute jammer getting taken off of CCTV wall now means that Fentex will be able to open up the wall with relative ease. Because obviously you aren't able to really mute trick as you are able to map bandit or kid trick. So yeah, we'll get opened up with these, and it just I go open as we speak. And Chroma did take some damage in getting rid of that mute jammer, so that is worth noting. Axis is still holding on to these rafters, but the Sophia charge is going to attempt to take him out, but these Bandit Batter or these Jaeger ADSs and the My Disc will help him get rid of. But doesn't matter because Fentex just gets the angle from the breach onto Rafters. Kenny J going for some long shots, not able to do it with the SMG-11, takes a lot of damage onto Kenny or onto Fentex, but Fentex actually wins it out. Bad Bunny also taking down Axis or Gohan in the meantime.
Yeah, now a 2v5 situation. Once again, if Shadi's last player alive, that's going to be Dagger. They both have a Nitro Cell. That could be huge, but they yet have to put to actual use. Army not being an OBJ is a wild card because he could stick a Nitro Cell to the ceiling and deny basically any plant that isn't directly on a desk, and the only desk is where Shadi is. So if the defenders want to play passive, they would be in their rights to do so. Well, Army would have to be in lounge at some point, but he still can. And by the way, chat is telling us it is the M762 assault rifle. Okay, so M762. Thank you for the Rainbow Six lore. Nitro Cell. Oh, is barely not gonna get a kill, and actually Army and Chroma. Well, Chroma getting a double kill here. Army and who was that? Army and Shadi dying in rapid succession there.
Yeah, Chroma just kind of walked into site and killed the two remaining players of MishMash Gaming. Not looking great for them right now. 3-2 on the split, at least 3-3. Is the minimum score that Impact will have on the split, and they are on attack, obviously, with Thatcher and Maverick Band, so that is extremely good for them here. Oh, is it the Nip skin? Then if it's the Ninjas and Pajamas skin, then that's a Pro League skin.
I don't know the things' names, you know.
Yeah.
I'm so dumb. Okay, sorry about that. Like, I just see a skin, I know. We're trying to dress like that. I mean, for example, the Zofia TSM skin is like red, and I was like, hey, take that Zofia skin off, and he says, oh, that's the TSM skin, and I go, okay, so that's one of the skins that are allowed, because the Pro League, not the Pro League teams, but like the esports sets, they're like gold and white, and they really are quite unique. But those like Pro League teams skins, they look like just about any other skin from afar, right? Because I couldn't, of course, see the TSM logo in the third person. Okay, so last round before the role swap, what could we expect from MishMash? Because at this point, they can get at best a 3-3 split, which is not ideal. But I guess not that bad either, considering that we're down 5-1 for the halftime mark in the previous map.
Yeah, I mean, obviously 3-3 is a lot better than 5-1, so hopefully we're able to get that. Even if they get 4-2, that's still better than 5-1. However, Clubhouse is one of the more defensive-sided maps in the pool, so I don't know. It's a toss-up. If they get 3-3, then I think they'll be happy. Overall, but they did end up actually winning this site the first time they went here, but they also won CCTV the first time they went there, so we'll have to see how it tosses up.
Yeah. I mean, in a sense, this map being more defense-sided, you could argue that the performances, that previous map was Oregon. I don't know if you were aware, once again, because you weren't there before. So you could argue this being a bit more defense-sided. You could say that the performance of the teams are roughly similar. And I'm going to be repeating myself, but MishMash, they have been destabilized as a team quite recently. Their previous coach, or should I say team captain, I think is the better term, technically speaking, was Kenny, and he left. You could say, wait, he left and he's in the game right now. Well, I guess he still has ties to the team, and this is why he's subbing in tonight. But swapping your coach and swapping any player is going to have a bit of a adjustment period while the new player still has to learn the maps or still has to learn the stats. And that was a nice play by Chroma right there. Nicely done. And so, yes, as a team, they're slightly destabilized, but I feel that shows.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing as best they can expect, I guess, with a technically a sub in there. But yeah, that shot from Chroma was beautiful. Like, he opened up the floor ahead of time and then forced the mute down the stairs and then shot him as he was retreating. That was excellent play. And that's just the kind of stuff that, is you can see in a more coordinated team like Impact here that you might not see with MishMash because of the fact that they, recently that there's subbing in a player.
Might I add, a bit more details regarding MishMash being a bit destabilized. Last week, their match had been scheduled and they no-showed, so they got a loss this way because, Kenny was the team captain. He was in charge of scheduling and stuff, and he was no longer there, so that kind of fell through the cracks. Oh no, he's gonna flash himself. And now that they're in the losers bracket, every bracket in a two-stage GSL format is a double elim. It's now or never if they want to make it into the better half of the bracket, which is actually what you're looking for as far as the first stage is concerned. So they're kind of backs against the wall for the very first round here, and that is not too positive. At the end of the day, though, for the time being, a 4v4 situation, but with only 27 seconds on the clock, Impact are likely going to have some amount of difficulties to funnel in. And I would say if MishMash don't mess this up big time, they're likely to win that round at this point.
Yeah, but the Rise are getting the kill on with the Knight out there. And Chroma with a shot onto Army, and Kenny is known his spot, so he's going to have trouble actually denying Plant here as the Plant starts to go down, and now in a 1 versus 4, Kenny is all alone all of a sudden. Plant does go down, and Kenny does have to get some beautiful shots if he wants to win this. We've seen him do some shots before, but I don't know if he can do this. Takes a lot of damage. He's at about a third health now, and every single player on Impact is going to be gunning towards that dirt tunnel, and Chroma takes down Kenny to finish out their half 4-2.
There you have it. Congratulations, 4-2-2. That's a huge lead to have on this map in particular, right? They only have to win 3 defensive rounds. It's, I don't want to say trivial because that would be slightly reductive, but then again, they would have to mess this up big time to fail at this point.
Yeah, for sure. And we see a Legion coming out from Riser, and that is different from what we've seen from MishMash. I don't think we saw a single Legion pick at all. But you actually get 6 to an Elo, which we also did not see. And they're both fill a similar, they both fill a similar niche in the meta, where they're both kind of trap operators that are very difficult to get rid of the traps before you actually run into them. So their traps are often actually detonated.
Yeah, they're kind of used as intel gathering. It's nowhere near as good as, a Valkyrie camera, but then again, you don't have to be sitting on cam to have the goo mine blow and then make some noise, or the Grismalt mine. It can help in a gunfight, but it still is possible to overcome the disadvantage that's going to put you in, right? As a skilled player, being concussed by a Grismalt mine isn't going to automatically make you lose the gunfight. So hey, that is really interesting because now that the role swap has occurred, I'm just going to put a twist on what you said. We can compare and contrast the playstyles of both teams. For example, the niche of Legion and Zofia, or Ella, has not been played or has not been filled when MishMash were defending. So that's a difference in their playstyles. And if Impact end up winning, you could say, hey, maybe it is worthwhile to bring that niche, into play. Oh, and by the way, he's playing with a shotgun. Yeah,
I just noticed that. Yeah, so the shotgun, the FO12, is very powerful at close range. Obviously, it's a semi-automatic shotgun with, I want to say 12 bullets per magazine.
Huge mag, yeah.
So you can just kind of spray down with that gun, and it has a relatively quick reload as well. So
Yeah.
As long as you're within 5 meters, anybody that comes in your path is going to kind of get melted away. But obviously, they're going to need to actually play into that pretty heavily in order to actually utilize that shotgun. And some smoke grenades coming out, probably to deny Raptors or to try to get rid of some ADSs.
Yeah, because then you can use a nade to destroy the batteries. Sorry, I didn't cut you off though.
Yeah, no, for sure. You're right. And Fentix is going to still try to hold on to this with his batteries. He's going to try a bandit trick. Will be unsuccessful in getting one of them. He does get one, but the other one will go off as an Snake's charge, and those are easy to get.
Yeah, so at this point, Army would probably be able to toss another one if he wanted to, but that doesn't really matter. I mean, opening up the right side of the wall could be useful, I guess, but it's not the be-all, end-all, and the defense really is on the back foot at this point. Riser with the shotgun really is going to have a minimal impact on the game at this point. You know, he gets a nasty kill, granted, but from beneath, his line of sights are really limited, and therefore his utility or his presence is going to be greatly dampered. Army is the bearer of the diffuser, so where he goes, the push truly goes. Anything else is just a distraction. That's going to be Ken just dying for nothing, and that's going to be another one. Gohan no longer can just stand up on his own, right? So that's double kill, triple if he puts Gohan out of his misery, but the diffuser gets planted. He does explode with that. Congratulations, Chroma, going OMFG.
Fentix.
Defenders have located the diffuser.
That is, like, I was kind of ready for some end of round analysis, but Fentix just kind of demolishes MMG just to the bone. He kills like every single one except for the one that Ella had killed previously. But yeah, Jesus, that was insane. Fentix just not taking loss for an answer, and brings Impact up single-handedly 5-2.
Hey, I have a little gut feeling that as far as, you know, highlight of the best of 3 is concerned, that I, you know, post on Twitter and here and there to just, you know, give the players some clout and shout them out whenever they deserve to be shouted out. That might be the clip that we see this round, from this match. And you know what's fun?
Yeah.
Chad is saying, well, Fentix, let's go Impact. There's a 3 minutes delay, so guys, if you're cheering at the previous round, wait till you see this one. And by the time you hear this, of course, the action already has happened. But congratulations! So at this point, MishMash Gaming are 3 points behind. It's not the be-all, end-all, because a 3 rounds momentum is still possible. It wouldn't be outlandish, but on attack, with the team that's already struggling as is, I would not expect to see them pull off a 3 points, momentum to bring this back. And hopefully, if you're rooting for MishMash, hopefully even see them win more than that to properly put them in the lead, because at the rate at which things are going, they don't have much time left in the game.
Yeah, we see some Mozzie play coming out, and that tells me that Impact are going to be trying for a roam game. They don't have the castle, so they're not going for like the quote-unquote SSG hold, but they're still going to be trying to hold on to, you know, more than just sight, because those Mozzie pests are very potent in actually denying droning from the attackers, or possibly even getting intel if you're, you know, careless with your drones as an attacker.
And I would say it happens even in Pro League to lose your drone to a Mozzie pest. So it's not just a silver thing. Like, I don't want to be reductive, but say dying to a fuse, that rarely happens, even in a gold deal, right? But Mozzie truly is an efficient way of playing Intel Denial. Let's just look at this. Is this going to get impact tricked? No.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well,
on the Mozzie as well, just I want to say that I think the reason for that is just there's so little time like that you have before like the icon pops up before that happens, and then you just get your drone snatched from you. Like that's such a small radius that it's very difficult to react in time, especially if you're like, you know, jumping with your drone or something. You can easily just accidentally jump into it on accident. But Kenny is actually pushing into dirt with his drone here. He's gonna get taken, as we were talking about, by the Mozzie pest.
Yeah, speak of the devil. But that stun is likely to flash him. He uses the drone in an odd timing. I guess he misclicked, but he's gonna be flushed out. All in all, it's a good thing to flush the defenders out, because once hatch is open, that rotation was supposed to be cut off. Was it Axis? Axis, you missed out on a free kill. I am sorry, but he's even likely to be punished for that. Armac, if you feel aggressive, you might even try to recuperate the lost, area. But of course, oh, is he going to get another one? No. So that's the top fragger from the previous map. from the previous round. Well, he does get a kill on Kenny, but yeah,
Oh, so
Axis
she
gets
does kill
revived.
Habana.
Yeah, Hatch has been blown, so I guess it doesn't matter too much anymore. There's still an ace as well, so if you want to breach, say, Motto or something, or Blue, but I don't see why they would want to do that, you still have the possibilities or the required utility to attempt that kind of play.
Yeah, and with Hatch open now, there is opportunity for MishMash to come in, and they are actually going for the plant now. Chroma getting a kill onto Shoddy, but the plant still goes down. Armory with that diffuser getting the plant down, and go on with some nice shots in the Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny missing some shots that were crucial there. Bentek's actually using a C4 to try to open a rotate, but he actually gets shot. The C4 gets shot before he can do that. Now, top control is in favor of MishMash, so this is looking all of a sudden very good for them. 3 versus 2, 2 versus 2 now as Gohan gets a kill. Army with another, it's all up to Riser. He's at 75 health. You can do this, but Gohan from above takes him down.
Flurry of kills, I do have to say, even though there was no crazy clutch, I love these rounds so much because both teams are just operating at maximum capacity, right? Everybody was trying to go for a flank, right? I mean, for example, was it... No, Melissa was the last death. Smoke goes up, he somehow forgets about Ace, so Army gets an easy kill on him, then he just goes back onto getting the kill onto Lucy, which I'm no longer exactly sure who that happened to be, but on the bottom floor, the defenders kind of had won their gunfights there, so if Army was just not there, if he missed out, or if he died in his gunplay, the round would have been won by the defenders. So, kind of two separate gunfights that went both teams' ways, right? But it just happens that the team that won the top floor's gunfights, well, verticality does play a great part of the game, so that's why MishMash were able to win the round. But yes, MishMash won the round! Now, only down 2 measly little points. Once again, given their previous track record, I wouldn't expect to see them start winning multiple rounds in a row. But then again, if they are to prove me wrong, they have to start somewhere, and starting they definitely did.
Yeah, a 2-round deficit is much easier to deal with than a 3-round deficit, and this could be the start of a MishMash recovery, a MishMash comeback, and I'd be very happy to see that. We have this similar setup coming out from the defense, although there is a Maestro this time, which I don't think we saw last time. It swapped out for the mod, it looks like.
You're totally right. I mean, if he was to swap out Echo, not the case, obviously, but that would still be a different twist on the same playstyle or role, you know, in the grand scheme of things. But Chroma is still playing Smoke, so that's just added plant denial capabilities. And, I mean, if you want to even just say playing for time, having a Mira there, that can totally stall a push, right? So, all things considered, the defense is going to be way less mobile, because, I mean, trading Motzi for Maestro is definitely a side effect of that. Already out of impact nades, probably created for rotations, and Riser is going to fail there as well. So, yeah, that's going to be hatch blown in a quick succession, all things considered, right? Not even a minute played, and already verticality has been established for the attackers.
And the attack is also pushing into dirt here. Chroma with the shotgun could maybe get some free picks here if the attackers are not careful enough to push him carefully. They do see the laser sight there, so they're going to try to stun him out here. And he does get stunned, but that doesn't necessarily matter. If he has the shotgun prone there, he's going to get a kill, but he does not get the second go. Or can he get in this down onto Chroma? Not able to finish him off yet, but he will do it just as I say that. So now Kenny with dirt control has the opportunity to push into site. Bad Bunny is holding on to dirt, so he won't be free raining to site, but it's definitely better than nothing.
Riser is not going to be vulnerable to that. You know, yeah, through the ceiling, it looked like Axis was looking directly at him, but there was a hard, indestructible wall between him and his opponent, so no kill is going to happen. 4v4 situation, actually, anything would be possible. Still losing the smoke early on really is unfortunate, especially considering that Chroma is your top fragger, and by far, if I may. But then again, the attackers also lost Gohan, who is a great killer on his own right. Bad Bunny hiding behind the mirror window now, so it looks like the defense is kind of conceding map control, but he seems to be rethinking that, pushing back in. He's technically visible by the hatch while doing that kind of rotation, but the gambit is going to pay off. Axis was just not holding the angle for some reason, and every attacker remaining now is in kitchen, so a unilateral push is just so easy to shut down. You know, everybody just has to look at the hatch, so which is why Axis is going to be rotating around. But then again, construction site and dirt tunnel is all once again very easy to shut down. The yellow ping indicates that there's a drone there. It gets spotted out, gets disabled, but Bad Bunny is still taking some amount of damage, and he's stuck there because this time the hatch is being manned.
Yeah, but even though Bad Bunny isn't able to really peek out to get a kill here, he's still denying a lot of time, and this nade is going to miss. The drop coming down, Bad Bunny will see it, and he will call Riser to shoot it, and he does. Army going down, but Bad Bunny does finally get taken down by Shoddy, but as he drops, Shoddy gets taken out as well, and Fentix with the last 2 kills onto Axis and Shoddy. Beautiful mirror play there with that Vector. Will finish out for Impact.
I feel like that play was ill-timed or ill-executed, because when you're only coming in through hatch and through dirt tunnel, it's just too predictable, right? You only have the one hatch to drop and you only have the one doorway to cross. Whereas if instead they were going to go for a split push onto either main stairs or blue, well then your mobility is so much greater, right? You could go down the corridor, you could, if it wasn't reinforced, just sledge the first wall to the left and then find your way into armory, or even walk to the right hand side. Similar kind of array of possibilities as far as, oh, pause please, yes. So that's going to be Impact's one and only tactical timeout for the match. Kenny's saying it's past my bedtime. His internet is lagging. Gotcha. So internet is being a bit of a pain right now. So yeah, but what I was saying was basically in blue you can also try to go for either, you know, church or armory itself. But the thing is, it would be hard to coordinate a push between the hatch to the kitchen and then between blue, or between kitchen hatch and between main stairs. So wishful thinking, I realize this is wishful thinking, but at the same time what they did was doomed from the get-go. So I see the problem, but I guess I don't really have a proper solution for that.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a decent attempt for MishMash. I mean, they
got
the early kills. They got the early kills that they needed. You know, they got hatches open, but they just were not able to execute onto site properly because they didn't have enough manpower to really pressure and the multiple directions they were talking about for them to try to get onto site. They hadn't cleared the site properly enough. The mirror was still able to just kind of run into armory, the backside of armory, and just kill the last 2 people there. And I think that kind of doomed them. But we will now be seeing the CCTV and Cash yet again for potentially the final rounds. Impact are on match point, and they are able to win this out if they can win one more site.
My cat ran on my keyboard, yeah, because they go on pause. No, I'm dumb, so... Not yet. Okay, not just yet. And I mean, I guess MishMash can also use that momentum, or can use that time to go for a quick tactical timeout at the same time, right? Because they're now on the back foot. You could argue Impact have a momentum because, I mean, look at the scoreboard. And so, cooling things off might be really useful to stop Impact's just steamrolling through.
Yeah, and this timeout, like, honestly, if you were to tell me, like, a team, like, called for a timeout, which one is it? I would have guessed MishMash, because if you're going to want a timeout, this is it. But, no, it's actually Impact time to go for technical reasons. But I'm sure that MishMash used this as an opportunity to, you know, talk it over, discuss the strats, talk about what they're going to do here. Obviously, they're pretty sure that Impact is going to be going to CCTV, so they'll be preparing their strats for that. And we'll see if they can kind of pull it off.
Just do a quick little thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're back. So, match point situation though, that's not too encouraging, right? Let's see. Is Ormac still lagging? He does not seem to be going too well. Yeah, his ping is through the roof. Can't pause at this point. So if things don't get better, it's got to be a 4v5 situation. Yeah, he's lagging bad.
I mean, Alex is still reinforcing. I mean, it's with telepathy, but, you know, it's still going on.
Hey, it's the result that counts, right? As long as there's no proper cheating going on, whatever works is fine by me.
So,
wink, wink. Want to go for a proper, like, toxic strat of bringing a Blitz, a Lion, a Finka, and a Dokkaebi. Kidding, of course, but yeah. You were saying...
as I was saying, Armac just left the game. That's unfortunate. He's disconnected, and obviously prep phase is over, so you can't really go for a rehost now, I don't think.
Oh no! Did that bounce off of Axis? Is it why he lost 5 HP? Because he's not blinded. Don't think so.
Yeah, I think something bounced off of him. He's had lost a little bit of health. That's unfortunate. And I was saying, it does look like this. Yeah, so this ace is going to be able to open the wall partially. So there's going to be an angle, but not a full rotate hole. But go on, actually getting another kill onto Fentix and then Goma. Go on, just single-handedly trying to keep his team in this match, and it shows. 4 versus 2 for MishMash. Although obviously one of those players didn't actually die; they just disconnected. Does look like a construction take actually, because the one is using 6 or 12 pellets, I think, on the construction wall.
That wide peek by Bad Bunny was really a mistake. Riser now with the shotgun, like always, right? He's beneath. His line of sights are really limited. His visibility is very limited. And now that he has nobody to help him out on bomb site proper, it would be really easy to just plant on a desk. Riser going at it with trial and error, has no intel, so yeah, he's gonna have to go through the retake process. He's unlikely to just get a lucky kill like that. And Army actually is not gonna get a lucky kill per se, but he's gonna turn those openings against the guy that created them, and as such, he gets a fairly easy kill, because that just really gave vertical to the attackers.
Yeah, beautiful shot coming out, and it does look like we might be going for a rehost, which is unfortunate but understandable, because obviously Ornak did disconnect, so he's going to need to try to reconnect, fix his internet. I'm not sure what's going on, but it's always unfortunate when that happens. But we'll be getting back into the game as soon as we can get everybody in the lobby, and hopefully Ornak will have fixed his internet by then.
But if I may, MishMash won the round, so you could argue like robbing their momentum away by pausing the match did play some kind of role there. So having to go through another rehost, a long form rehost, is likely to have an even bigger impact, similar to what we just had.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, in MishMash now, they're down 4-6, which is still not good, but it was much better than 6-3. And I think it's 6-4 at least. But obviously, Impact still has another 2 rounds to play with before they are in a overtime situation. So they still have the time to experiment a little bit if they want to go for something a little bit unorthodox, to try to throw MishMash off their game and get them to make mistakes or miscalculate their attacks. But Impact, they can play with some rounds here. They can lose a couple more rounds before they're in actually any danger. And obviously they are still up a map, so even if they do lose this map, it's still not the end of the world. Whereas MishMash is going to need to win every single round from here on out until they win the map, and then they're going to need to win another map before they can actually take the match itself.
So I'm now just creating the round's history. The first half really doesn't matter, and for the second half, or since after the role swap, our first defense was at the top floor. I actually don't have a round history here. So when defending CCTV bedroom for the very first time, Impact won, right? Because they were up 5-3. So that's a blue victory.
It was 5-2, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 5-2. So that was a...
Yeah, so they won the first round, lost the second round, won the third round, lost the fourth round.
Okay, so that's a 6, and they lost the other one in CCTVs. That's an orange win, which leads us to a... you were saying
6-4.
6-4. Okay, so I feel like there's still one missing. Let me just count. So at this point, blue has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And orange is there twice before the role swap. Only 3 times. Yeah, I'm missing one. So you said they went CCTV, defense 1. They went church, defense 1. Then, church?
Their church attack 1, and then they went church again in defense 1.
Okay, so church attack 1, then we went church again, then... Okay, and then we went CCTV, and then the MishMash won that, so attack 1. So if we go at it again, okay, before the role swap, that's a 4-2, doesn't really matter because round history is what at this point. And now after the role swap, that's 4, blue 5, 6 points, and orange is there twice. So yes, that is looking good.
Yeah,
Why?
I'm just waiting on Ornock right now, so that is...
Yeah, because he had to restart his. You know how Moss has to be running since before you launched the game as an added anti-cheat measure. So if the game crashed, he has to like restart Moss.
Right.
But please do keep the original color, because with the run history, like Orange Team's going to be attacking once again. We're going to be resuming 6-3, by the way, as soon as the 6th guy joins back in, 10th guy joins back in.
6-3, not 6-4?
It's, yeah, 6-4, sorry. Yeah, because MishMash won the last round, and then rehost. Okay.
Right.
So at this point... oh, shoot. I'm going to explain what I'm typing about once I'm done typing. Okay, yeah, so remember how I was saying, hey, we could maybe be interested in going into the other match that is starting, but that match is due to start in 2 minutes. So, of course, we're never going to be ready in 2 minutes' time, even if Impact were to win in a flawless fashion, and that's not even guaranteed, right? MishMash can still bring this back, absolutely, got to remain neutral, right? So I told the players, if you guys want to wait for us in case Impact wins it, you may, but, I mean, no guarantees. And they said, both teams said, I'm fine waiting. The other guy said, sure. So it looks like they're going to be waiting us on the chance that MishMash were to lose here. But they're doing really good, actually, right? And just like we said, we both said this in our own way. MishMash, not that they, they have another pause to work off of, to think off of, I think would be a better way of putting this. I would say their chances of winning the next round are still pretty decent, and that would hypothetically give us a 5-6 situation. So at this point, hey, your guess is as good as mine, but I still want to hear it. Well, how do you expect this match is going to go?
Well, I mean, if Impact aren't able to get their 5th in, then I definitely can see MishMash Gaming winning this out. I mean, I think we had it in the qualifiers, we had a team that only had 4 players because of an issue with them dropping out because of internet issues, I think it was. So
he lost his electricity, I think, power went off, but I mean, details.
Yeah, and so then they ended up obviously losing the match, like even though it was close. And I could see a similar situation going on if MMG are get a min advantage automatically because of a player going off. And obviously, even if they do win, it's not going to be just because of the the lack of a 5th player from Impact, and he is actually back in the lobby now, so that is good. And we're getting back in the match right as soon as the players are ready.
Both players saying we're ready. Omar saying sorry about it. I do forgive you. Resuming 6-4. Good luck, have fun. May the best team win. And let's jump right into it. I dearly hope that the round's history is correct, because I would not wish to rehost again at this point. That's the double-edged sword. The later you are into the game, the more dangerous it becomes. If the more rounds in the round history you have to enter in, ergo, the greater your chances of just making a mistake here and there. Hey, 497 followers, 3 more, and we have a big round number to celebrate.
Yeah, absolutely, and we do ended up actually going to 6-4, so that's good.
Yep.
And so now for the potential last last round of potentially the last 2, but for this time, Impact are going to be going over to the bedroom. Now, this was MishMash Gaming's 2nd choice in site, but this is the tertiary site for Impact, and they will be bringing in the Pulse in the castle. That's 2 UMPs, which is maybe a little bit of a problem. I mean, obviously, Pulse does the C4 from below we can use, but those umps aren't the greatest in terms of fragging potential. So,
yeah.
Impact's other players might need to step up a little bit with their guns because they have much better guns. But obviously the utility that these FBI operators bring is just so good that they have those not so good weapons.
Yeah, Pulse more so than Castle, because you could argue Castle needs a buff, which is I believe why Castle has. Does he have like the 1.5 time?
Yeah, he has the 1.5x on his UMP. Yeah.
And,
which actually does make the gun much better. Like you see a similar effect with Frost and her SMG. It has a similar fire rate. I think a little bit more damage than the UMP. More
greater recoil as well, obviously.
Right? I mean, they're both essentially lasers. I mean, the 1.5x on those two guns is a beast, and I would not want to go up against this attacker. But as I waffle on about that, Fentix is going to be holding onto bar as best he can. Shoddy getting spotted out on the pulse scanner, and that's the power of that pulse scanner, and he's going to fall off of that very quickly. Army, though, does see both the players on the first floor, and he's going to have a potential angle for Shoddy to get him.
Yeah, Kenny. Oh, Kenny, no!
No.
On the cardboard box, nonetheless. Oh, how unfortunate. I mean, utility kind of lost there, not the end of the world. Kenny dying to Armax, so it looks like the AMP still is a frag heavy or very capable gun as is. Not the best, but hey, if it does the job, a dead enemy is a dead enemy. But the problem is, I don't believe Chroma has a mirror window here, and that's where they would actually be really important, because Gohan could just funnel in behind Chroma if he was to use the opening. But no, actually, it's going to be Chroma who just rotates, and just like any operator, because the shield or the mirror window wasn't actually at play, he's going to get it. But at this point, things are looking grim. 3v4 situation, not a major disadvantage to have, but it's still a disadvantage in a situation where MishMash can ill afford to do so. Oh no, dropping right in front of Fentix. Fentix is not going to hesitate to capitalize on that, leaving us with a 2v4 situation in front of the mirror window. Yeah, Axis is not going to be feeling too confident either, and he can't do too much because of that open window, right? Quite dangerous because, okay, at this point, what would it bring as an advantage to get rid of Fentix and Razor? They are already out of nitro cells, right? So if I was in their shoes, I would just be sure to not be on the one slight part of the balcony where you're exposed to that window and just go for an OBJ play, because as far as bomb site proper is concerned, it's a 2v2 situation.
Yeah, I mean, the Pulse can obviously shoot through the floor, but that's a lot less effective than a C4, and obviously he's out of C4s. But Axis and his teammate are going to be trying to go for this, and he has actually hit the feet of the Pulse for a little bit of damage, or for quite a bit of damage actually, but Riser's still alive and still in the Pulse scanner, is going to be able to see the people on his scanner, and he sees Army, but he's still in the scanner, so, oh no, actually he's off the scanner, so then Fentix getting a kill, and Riser finishing out. That is a GG in the chat, because 7 for 4, Impact will take the series.
Congratulations to Impact, Impact Elite, Impact Esports, another roster. Hey, 7-4, MishMash kind of outdid themselves because the gap between the two teams was smaller, but it was not exactly small enough because they still lost at the end of the day. So congratulations for the improvement that we saw, and with any chance, with any luck, those improvements will just keep on getting better and better and better, and eventually you're going to be able to win. I mean, remember when MishMash came in second in the tournament season? Remember when MishMash came in, I believe, third in like the league proper season 1 or something? So their performances are kind of going down. It is slightly unfortunate, but as soon as they can get another or a new consistent roster together, you know, if they're not losing players or swapping players out left and right, that's all they need, because as players, we all know that they have what it takes to get up there. They just have to go through the motions, basically. Usually, I would invite the players for a brief little, how'd you say this, like interview, but there's another match waiting for us. Just confirming or just asking again, still interested in casting another best of 3?
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
I might be pretty dead at the end of it, but I'll try.
Hey, same here. I've been not to play the victim, because being in starting a competition of like who's the weakest isn't that fun to me. But I've been here longer than you have. Yeah, with that being said, yes, let's jump right into the next match, shall we? So, like I said, I would usually go through an interview, but this time we're gonna have to skip that step. So, hey, do you want to maybe recap like the match as a whole? Because I'm gonna have to update like team names and team logos and map and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So if anybody's just tuning in now, the match that we just saw happen, Impact Elite managed to win 2-0 against MishMash Gaming, and fairly convincingly at that. I believe the first map was 7-2, and then the second map was 7-4. So the second map was a lot closer, but Impact still ended up winning out over MishMash Gaming. MishMash put up a good fight towards the end of Clubhouse, which was the second map, but ultimately was not enough. And they did fall just short of actually winning the map and pushing us to a third map. But we did see some nice plays from both teams. Obviously, there were some flaws as well. Like the executes for both teams were a little bit flawed. You know, there were people just not holding angles that they maybe should have been. But that is obviously in the past, and we'll have to try to do better next time. Impact Elite, not too much better because they actually won, but obviously you're always going to be attempting to improve.
Okay, so the scores have been submitted. There's also that needed to be done. A player also seems to be having issues with his Moss file. He says Rainbow Six Siege. So the Moss says Rainbow Six Siege is stopping, but it doesn't stop. So Moss as a program is going to appear to be unresponsive, but it really is working in the backgrounds.
Yeah, I mean, Moss is just that thing that's kind of difficult to configure properly, but it's just a good insurance against cheating, and it helps stop them from cheating, and that's just always good.
Yeah, I mean, cheaters are, I want to say, the single biggest threat to the existence of a league, because a competition, I mean, is based off of the assumption that things are going to be fair, because the question is like, who's the best team? That's basically the entire reason as to where we're here, right? And if like the playing field isn't level, the entire principle of a competition flies out the window, which is why we have to be extra strict and harsh against cheaters, but also it kind of adds a heft to the players, because they have to make sure to be conforming to our rules, and those rules are quite heavy because we want to make sure that no cheaters are here. Yes, that being said, our stream, both teams are Canadian, I believe. Oh, and Eclipse Surf have updated their name to just Eclipse. Gotcha. Yeah, so our stream, have you even casted the R-Stream? I believe you have. Were they the ones who were playing against the team in a 4v5 situation during the quals?
Which team? Sorry?
R-Stream.
Airstream.
Airstream.
Potentially. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's it, bro. Yeah, potentially. I mean, they play in the quals and they're here through them, so they're a mostly mostly new team. Oh yeah, and they did send me a new logo. They updated their logo recently, so it's not the one that I already have saved up. Let me just get that new thing on. And I would usually post an announcement on Twitter, but I think that's gonna have to wait a little bit. That's not Trix Karma. No, did they DM it to me on Discord? You guys are witnessing behind the scenes. That's the kind of stuff I would use. Where did they send me that logo? I can't find it anymore. That's the kind of stuff I would usually do behind the scenes. Ah, there it is. Before a stream starts, but since we're just chaining them up tonight, and it was unexpected, might I add, well then, we're good as such. What format does this file have? It is a web.webp. What the hell is that?
Who knows, man? I mean, there's a million different types of pictures now. I mean, I miss when it was just JPEGs and PNGs. And
that format is... Okay, wait. Because I believe I'm just opening it up directly. No, that really is a WP. Oh gosh. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna be like maybe and even like Photoshop doesn't know that format. So I guess I'm gonna put it in through Paint 3D.